in a lawsuit today. 25 people accusing the Archdiocese of enabling and covering up cases of child sex abuse committed by at least 30 clergy members. More on that story for you in the next hour. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Sandberg Phoenix serves your business in litigation, intellectual property, and products liability. We're more than a law firm. We're committed to your success. Learn more at sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, hit it.
Chris Ranji, Amy, Mark Scores. The Chris and Amy Show.
You know who it is.
Also, if you didn't know, this is called the show.
Yeah. On 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Good morning, everybody. It is a Tuesday. It is March 3rd. It is a gloomy day, but not in this room. We're going to have nothing but fun today, for the most part. Well, hold on. Let me look at the rundown real quick. Let's see. Fun. Decently fun. Oh, that's not good. There's a lot coming up today. We hope you'll stick around.
We've got Gas Buddy info.
Gas Buddy info.
I love that name. I feel like Gas Buddy is the best way to talk about gas prices with a little bit of whimsy.
Yeah. It's what do you talk about today? Gas, buddy. 314-436-7900 to join us. Leave us voice messages on the Odyssey app where you also can listen to the show live and the podcast later, and Cardinals baseball when the season gets going, even the spring training games, some of them. And we are streaming live. If you want to look at the show, you can do that on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter at Chris Amy KMOX.
Time now for the top of the order. The top 3 stories everyone will be talking about.
Speaking of gas, the prices of said gas are now on the rise in the United States in direct response to the military campaign in Iran.
And we were talking about the city budget and police budget. Well, Mayor Kara Spencer wants the state to take over the legal costs for police and litigation.
Cardinals have an off day today as Grapefruit League play is ongoing in Florida. However, they made an announcement within the last couple of days. How about all you can eat and drink tickets for games?
We buried the lead yesterday.
We did.
We talked about the team. We talked about trolls. We talked about the season. But all you can eat?
It's actually gotten some national attention.
Is it? I guess for perspective.
Yeah.
Is there another stadium that has this? I guess other than club seats, right? Which is different than
all-inclusive
seats. These are not the special, super expensive all-inclusive. These are just regular seats with an all-you-can-eat. Now, here's the thing. It's certain items. Like you can pick 3 items per visit.
Yes.
When you go to the concession stand, but it doesn't tell you how many visits you're limited to.
And we're going to go through those and tell you all about them a little bit later in the show. It's a great deal, and it's something they've announced for the 2026 season. And like I said, I mean, I've seen some national outlets like Sports Illustrated. Gosh, what else did I see? Or where else did I? There are places that are national outlets that have picked up on it because it's a little unusual. And you asked the question, Amy. I know we were going to move on here, but you asked the question, do other stadiums do this? The only thing I can think of that's similar is Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, which I've talked about before, where the prices for the food is really good. It's like $5 for a slice of pizza instead of $15. And the soda, if you get a soda, the soda machine is out like you're at a 7-Eleven. You just walk up, fill up your cup, leave, come back, fill up your cup later. That's a pretty great deal, and most major league stadiums don't do that. Anyway, we will talk about that on the show today. It's a really good deal. I'm not so sure that the state takeover of the police is a good deal for the city of St. Louis.
Okay, and just to clarify, because we were talking about last week the police budget that was proposed by the state that was over $50 million more than Mayor Kara Spencer was expecting,
that was last week
right?
We talked about it,
Yeah, and that included updates to a facility and new facilities and pay raises for police officers. So that is one topic. But yesterday, Mayor Spencer was calling on Missouri lawmakers to reject legislation that's being proposed that would take state taxpayers off the hook for paying for police lawsuits, meaning like misconduct lawsuits involving the St. Louis Police Department. So basically, right now, there are 70 lawsuits in state and federal courts as judges are waiting for clarity. Who's going to pay these damages in these police misconduct related cases? Now, if I didn't know anything here, like if I didn't know anything about a state takeover or who runs the police, my very simple initial gut reaction is, well, if Chesterfield, for instance, had litigation for police misconduct, would not the city of Chesterfield pay for that? Or if Afton or whatever it may be, it makes sense that the city and the police under that city's purview would have to pay for litigation. So with the city of St. Louis, if these cases emerged during city control of police, then the city pays for those cases. And if the cases emerge during state control of police, the state pays for those. That is my super simplified gut reaction.
Well, I think it sounds reasonable. And it's exactly what I said last week, that if the state board made the decision that the police department here in St. Louis needed an additional 50, 60, 70 million dollars, whatever it was, for the budget coming up here, great, then you pay it. Because it's almost like you've got a neighbor, and your neighbor can come over to your house and say, I want you to paint the wall this color. I don't like this table. I want you to get a different table, and I don't like the couch either. I want you to replace it with a new couch. Okay, bye, I'll see you. And then leaves, and then expects you to go and buy the couch, buy the paint, buy the table, and you don't get a say in it. You're going to be like, wait, hold on a second. This is my house, right? And if you're going to be in charge of the decisions made in my home, then you pay for those. And I think that is a super reasonable way to look at this, right? Because the state of Missouri cannot tell Chesterfield how to handle its police department. It can't tell Clayton.
Yeah, of Chesterfield.
Right. So I agree with the mayor on this. Like, okay, if you're going to be in charge of us because you think we can't handle being in charge of ourselves, then you pay for the lawsuits.
So the change to the state-controlled board, that is the city's argument, as you mentioned, Ranj, that the city is saying, well, we're not liable for any settlements or judgments because now all of that responsibility has been transferred to the state. Now, again, this bill that is saying, no, the state does not have to pay for this litigation is Senate Bill 1657. It's sponsored by Senator Travis Fitzwater of Holtz Summit, and it would say it is the city's responsibility. And I guess where I'm kind of straddling the middle here, in my head, it makes sense that the city would pay for the litigation that took place under its purview, and the state pays for all the litigation under its own. You brought up the example of buying a team or making a purchase and assuming all of the outstanding debt.
You're right. I guess with any big business, whatever and maybe even small businesses, if you've assumed a company of some kind or an organization, don't you kind of take on their debt unless you've made a different arrangement? I would think you would, but I can also buy the argument that, hey, all of these lawsuits were filed before the state takeover. You still need to handle those lawsuits, and then we'll handle any lawsuit that happens from here on out. That also sounds pretty reasonable to me. So either way, I can be convinced.
And I also think this should not be, I hope it wasn't, a punitive takeover of the police where the state now runs the St. Louis City Police, that it is because they felt that in the best interest of the state, the city of St. Louis needs to thrive. For the city to thrive, it needs a healthy police force, and you can make those arguments. But you also, if the state is controlling the police board, the state also should not be overly burdensome. Like, hey, not only are we taking over your police force, city of St. Louis, but you have to pay for all the litigation. And also, we're going to give you a budget that's $50 million more than you expected. Make do. Good luck. There needs to be cooperation and an understanding that what's good for the goose is good for the gander. the city of St. Louis needs to thrive in order for the state of Missouri to thrive. So I would hope that legislation coming out of Jeff City would be with an understanding that it's a partnership, not an antagonistic relationship where they're paternally, city of St. Louis, get your act together. We're going to punish you. That feels weird to me.
But also, that's kind of the relationship a lot of people outside of St. Louis, legislators or people who are in more rural areas, they have an antagonistic view of the city. They talk about St. Louis as if it's a problem more than it is a benefit to the state, even though this is still, with all of its problems, a huge economic driver for Missouri, just like Kansas City. So, but I wouldn't expect that if your view of St. Louis as a legislator or a voter somewhere else in the state of Missouri is antagonistic, well, then why wouldn't some of the laws that you propose also be antagonistic?
Yeah. And again, when you look at the terms of the state takeover, the city is obligated to fund the board's budget request, regardless of its effects on other departments. And I just think that you have an opportunity here between the state and the city to build a relationship that is understanding, that is also pro St. Louis, versus really creating some real resentment that if the people in the city of St. Louis voted in Mayor Kara Spencer, excited. I had several friends of mine, probably live out near your neck of the woods, Soulard, South City, so thrilled to see the roads being repaved.
Mm-hmm.
So Jefferson was so bad, so thrilled to see the roads being repaved, so thrilled to see potholes being filled and knowing that the roads were being plowed after the snowstorm. If you chip into those services now to fund an extra $50 million for the police, you can be pro-police, but you could really turn a lot of people resentful that their city services aren't getting done because Jeff City decided you have to spend the money elsewhere.
That's Amy Marks Coors. I'm Chris Ranji. Feel free to check in with us and let us know what you think. 314-436-7900. Also, we've got tickets for Zach Bryan to give away today. You have to be listening for your chance to win. Zach Bryan is playing at the Dome on Saturday. So we have a pair of tickets that we will give away before the show is over today. Hope you're having a good one. Hope the gas that you're going to buy right now, you are on the way to the gas station right now. Hope it's not like $5 a gallon, but apparently prices are going up and have so in the last couple of days. We'll tell you why when we come back on KMOX.
In 1991, John and Cindy Morelli started Morelli Tuck Pointing. As of today, they've won just about every award possible for the tuck pointing business. The BBB Torch Award, the Next Door Neighborhood Fave Award, and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. For homeowners, this is a great time to get a free inspection of your basement, your brick or stone fireplace, your garage interior, your porch, and maybe even your walkway. Indoor tuck pointing can be started now. Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. My wife Beth and I have used Morelli Tuck Pointing to work on 2 of our homes now over the last 25 years. We have found the Morelli bids to be fair. Their crews are very polite and they clean up after themselves. But most importantly, their work is beautiful. Family owned and operated since 1991. 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mary Claire Haver, a board-certified OBGYN and menopause specialist. My new podcast, Unpaused, is the place for bold, unfiltered conversations about what it really takes for women to thrive in the second half of life. Every week, I sit down with medical experts, cultural icons, and powerhouse women to talk about what really matters. New episodes drop every Tuesday. Listen to and follow Unpaused with me, Dr. Mary Claire Haver, available now wherever you get your podcasts.
You can feel the Clydesdales circling the field, hear the stands come alive, smell the hot dogs, the popcorn, and cold beer in the air. See the crowd rise as the first pitch hits the glove. And just like that, a new season begins. The countdown is on until opening day, and tickets start at just $49. Don't miss St. Louis's favorite holiday. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/opening day.
Cardinals single-game tickets are now on sale for the 2026 season. The schedule delivers big-time matchups, including weekend series against the Cubs and Dodgers, and visits from the Boston Red Sox. Add in a promotions calendar stacked with fan favorites like all-new giveaways, a Hawaiian short and shirt set, golf-inspired hat, dark mode jersey, and a whole lot more. It's Busch Stadium at its best all season long. Lock in your seats today at Cardinals.com.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Tax season is here, and Missouri families are already seeing the real impact of the Working Families Tax Cut Act. House Republicans are delivering real results for hardworking Missourians. According to the Council of Economic Advisors, the bill is projected to raise wages in Missouri by about $3,000 to $6,000 over the next 4 years. That's more money for groceries, gas, and greater security for your family's future. In Congress, I'm working to protect working families, strengthen our economy, and ensure you are keeping more of your hard-earned money.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives. If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Start your summer early at the St. Charles Boat Show, March 5th through 8th at the St. Charles Convention Center. The top marine dealers from the Lake of the Ozarks will be on site with the newest boats, personal watercraft, docks, and accessories. Step aboard, compare models, and find the perfect ride for your family. Special show pricing and experts ready to help make your boating dreams a reality. Visit lakeoftheozarksboatdealers.com for more information.
Still here, still trusted. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Listening to Total Information AM this morning on the Odyssey app, as I do every morning, and Michael Calhoun was on with his gas buddy.
Oh, what you mean the app? Or his buddy who has gas?
Technically, it's Matt McLean. He's a petroleum analyst with Gas Buddy, which I do really appreciate that name. My mom's dog, Francis, that's a gas buddy. It's not good. But, you know, we have this conversation about the price of gas, and I feel like...
At least we're not talking about the price of eggs.
I know. Oh, I missed that.
I do too.
But I think people fall into two groups, and we're going to get to our question of the week. It's either people who really, really pay attention to the price of gas, or people who are just like, well, c'est la vie, I got to get to work anyway. At any rate, really interesting conversation about how the events in Iran might or might not affect our gas prices right here in St. Louis.
That alongside our friends in Canada and Mexico, virtually all of the oil and gasoline that we use in America comes from here in North America. So as far as supply issues, really, it's not going to make any difference for us. It's just the price point that's going to continue to increase as the volatility does as well.
And, really informative, I think, on what affects gas prices, because we can say it's the president or not the president when we've actually talked to Matt McLean before at Gas Buddy, who said, no, It's not directly the president. It's world events. And even then, it's pretty fickle. It's fickle how the prices go up and down. This could affect us. I think a lot of people are seeing it already.
Well, this is a world event.
Exactly. Right. And so I had always said, and it's probably flippant, and I talked to others too. I'm like, if gas is $1 million, it doesn't matter. Like, what am I going to do? I still have to get to work. And kind of joking basically on, I don't know, I don't have the bandwidth to pay attention. I just need to get to work. But I remember the one time it stopped me in my tracks recently. I thought it was 2021, but it was 2022 when the average price for regular unleaded gasoline in St. Louis was about $4.60. And I remember that because driving out to my parents is kind of a haul. And I've never really changed my habits because of gas prices. But it was the first time that I was thinking, maybe I can not drive around town a bunch, because it was adding up. When you start paying close to $5 per gallon, it hits you hard. But I have another friend who will drive all over town for the cheapest price.
See, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, because I'm not sure how much you're really saving when you're using gas to go find a better gas price.
Unless you're strategic about it, right?
Yeah, I mean, the only gas price shopping I've ever really done is if there are two stations right next to each other and one's like a penny cheaper. Like, I guess I'll go to this one. But I don't go a block or two.
Yeah.
Farther so I can get to a cheaper price. I just kind of, hey, I need gas. This is where I'm at. I'm going to get it because it's close. That's always what I've done.
And I have to throw this out there because our question of the week is on gas prices. Do you change your habits because of gas prices? And whenever we have this conversation, if I don't mention it, we'll get absolutely hammered. The Costco gas, people swear by it. One of my friends, she doesn't live near a Costco, so she schedules her gas fill-ups when she can, to when she's going to be in that area or maybe doing her grocery store visit. And I know people swear by Costco and Walmart. I've actually never done that. I've never done a Costco or Walmart fill-up.
I haven't either.
Because I'm a horrible planner. Horrible. Which means sometimes I have rolled into a gas station on empty. So beggars can't be choosers.
I do that a lot.
Yeah. I think I'm a beggars can't be choosers.
Which, by the way, they tell you do not, you should, the experts say you should always have at least a quarter of a tank because it has something to do with the fuel line and the level of the gas. The gas in the tank helps cool that. So if it helps keep the or the fuel line cool. So if you let it get below that level, then you can wear down your gas line.
Want me to ask a question that will make me sound like the stupidest person in the world?
Yeah.
Okay. If you are very low on gas, like you're empty, does going uphill matter?
I don't think so.
Not with the effort of the car, but just the fuel level sloshing.
Oh,
you feel stupid.
Actually, I don't think it's that dumb of a question because if
you're on an incline, is it like tipping a bottle where you're getting more gas or less gas?
I think there is something to that.
Really?
And it's John who is watching us on Facebook who says the gas in the tank keeps the fuel pump cool. I think it was the fuel line I said, but the fuel pump, it keeps it cool. So don't get below a quarter of a tank.
Well, I'm at 0.
And on our Twitter account at Chris Amy KMOX, do you make decisions based on gas prices? That is our Twitter poll, our question of the week. We'd like to get your thoughts on it. It is Chris and Amy, and we know one way the city of St. Louis can get more revenue. That's make people pay for their parking tickets. Ryan Kroll has a really interesting investigative report for St. Louis Magazine about parking tickets. and how much has gone unpaid in the city? Ryan joins us next on KMOX.
Spring training is here, and Cardinals baseball is heating up in Jupiter as young talent and big expectations take the field. The Gas House Gang is talking Cardinals all day long. Tom Ackerman, Chris Ranchi, Bernie Nicholas, smart takes, insightful analysis, real Redbird conversation, plus live reports from Camp Cardinals with Matt Pauley and Mike Claiborne. If it matters to Cards fans, it's on the Gas House Gang. Weekdays at noon on KMOX.
1 in 4 people surveyed by Bankrate.com say they're literally losing sleep because of worries that they may have not saved enough to retire. If you're ready to get serious about planning for your financial future, you could start by listening to the All Financial Hour with host Steve All of the All Financial Group.
What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? What's retirement look like for you? Because everybody, that picture is different. If you want assistance, we can also help you at that point.
Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6, right here on KMOX.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Currently 43 degrees, pretty gloomy out there. Periods of rain, could be a thunderstorm this afternoon. A high of 57, tonight cloudy with occasional rain, maybe some more thunderstorms, a low of 47.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Dave. Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free and 0% financing for 36 months, plus $500 off your project. Call 314-334-2522. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Insurance companies often have a basic strategy: delay, deny, defend. Some try to grind you down, but they have another tremendous weapon, a software called Colossus. They know which attorneys are great and which are not so great. They know who is likely to take the last offer and who will take them by their scalp, kicking and screaming to trial. They know that they have to pay some firms early and fairly. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. The insurance companies have done their homework. Before you hire a lawyer for your injury case, do yours. Visit forthepeople.com and see our settlements and verdicts for cases like yours. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason. When you hire the wrong firm, you may be beat before you start. All law firms are not the same. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Bernie Nicholas and the Gas House Gang, today at noon on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
What would you say if I told you that the city of St. Louis has $10.7 million in unpaid parking tickets, among other things, and that there are thousands of vehicles that are eligible to be booted, and that the city of St. Louis has exactly 30 boots. I imagine you'd have some questions. Well, I have great news. We've got somebody with answers, and that is Ryan Kroll, staff writer for St. Louis Magazine, who has been working on this story about whether it be abandoned cars or cars that could be booted or cars that have parking tickets. Ryan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, Amy, Chris, yeah, glad to be here and always happy to talk about parking. Yeah.
I know. You know what? It sounds, facially it sounds okay. Boring parking tickets, but it's actually pretty exciting because you start your story with a hookah bus that has $2,000 in unpaid parking tickets because it just parks illegally around the neighborhood in the city of St. Louis. You have a Tesla with Illinois dealer plates that has more than 200 tickets totaling over $27,000 in fines. You have another Chevy with 500 tickets totaling $42,000 in fines. What in the world is going on? Who keeps writing tickets for these cars?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Parking is one of those things, once you scratch the surface, it gets really interesting really fast, especially you think about how much of, especially an area like downtown, is, paid parking, metered parking, that kind of thing. It's like a not insignificant chunk of our town, is dedicated to parking and should be generating revenue, tax revenue for everyone. But clearly something is broken here. So yeah, basically the story that I just wrapped up a few days ago was looking at these cars that rack up these huge amounts of fines, and they get them $20 at a time, one expired meter at a time, but then they just never pay. And the city right now doesn't have much of a mechanism to sort of bring any consequences or bring the hammer down in any way. So yeah, there's the Tesla of 27,000. There's the Hyundai, I think it is, with 42,000. But then there's I got this list of sort of parking scofflaws, you might say, and it's 13,000 cars long. And there's a bunch that owe like $10,000, $3,000. I think the average is about $800. So yeah, there's just a lot of money that the city is very clearly leaving on the table here.
I'm not on that list, am I?
So I looked up a few friends' plates, and some folks. That's kind of another issue, is the record keeping type situation. Like I looked up my car, for instance, and a car that I hadn't owned in like 4 years was on this list of cars that owed money. But the thing is, I had paid off the tickets at some point, but I got on the list, but I couldn't get off of it. So I think there's multiple sort of countervailing issues with the way that parking is being run in the city right now.
So a lot of these cars that we're talking about, the one with the $31,000 or $42,000 worth of tickets, are they cars that are in a spot and have not moved for a very long time? Or are these cars that are moving and then coming back, and what's happening with them, and why are they still there if it's been weeks, if not months, where they're in the same spot?
Yeah, no. So a lot of these cars, the three that Amy mentioned in particular, these are cars that are, as far as I can tell, actively being driven around, because you can look and see where they got tickets, and they were illegally parked. One place at the Central Liston last Friday, a different place on last Thursday. So it's folks who are just, basically around town quite a bit, but just don't see any reason to pay for parking. And the stuff coming from Illinois is particularly interesting. I guess I assume these are folks who commute across the river, and they're parking in the one car in particular is parking near the old post office, very clearly someplace you're not supposed to park, but I guess is like convenient for this guy. So, he just gets the ticket, I guess, every day and throws it in the trash and doesn't worry about it. So, yeah, these are not, I know there's a whole separate issue with abandoned cars that rack up tickets. Mm-hmm. And that's in the same sort of bucket of problems. But these sort of really high dollar cars that owe a lot of money, these are ones that, as far as I can tell, are sort of actively being driven around town, and their owners just don't see any reason to pay these tickets. And I guess, they kind of have a point, because they're not getting booted, they're not getting towed, they're really not facing any consequences here.
Right. To be honest, I'm the schmuck for paying my parking ticket, because what's going to happen? Nothing's going to happen. It's the same thing in the city of St. Louis when we talk about expired tags or no tags. I'm the schmuck that keeps getting my license plates renewed, But in the city of St. Louis, it's pretty clear. And to me, this would classify as evidence that nothing's going to happen to you if you don't pay your parking tickets or you don't get your plates renewed. And so I guess the question is, how did it get so out of control? Because it's not laughable. $10 million is a big deal. A dysfunctional city government is a big deal, but it's almost laughable. So how did it get so out of control?
Sure. So there's, no one thing caused this, but there's a few important data points. One was back during the onset of COVID, then Treasurer Tishaura Jones, who later became mayor, she sort of eased up on parking policies for whatever reason. Just, I guess she figured folks were having a hard enough time with the onset of COVID. So they started to put a moratorium in on enforcing a lot of these parking laws. And then COVID went away, but a lot of this enforcement stuff never came back. So they never, they started writing tickets again, obviously. But what they stopped doing was the parking division, which is part of the treasurer's office. What they stopped doing was they stopped booting cars. So it used to be that if you got 4 tickets and you didn't pay them for I think it's like 75 days or something, if they were 75 days past due, you were eligible to get booted. And then if the person, writing the tickets came across your car illegally parked again, they could boot it. And then it was the job of a different city agency, the streets department, to come tow it to the tow lot. And then you'd have to basically, get your balance down to 0 with the city to get the car out of impound. So what happened was, without the treasurer's office booting cars anymore, the streets department couldn't tow them. So that's kind of where the stick that the city had to keep parkers in line just kind of went away.
So I know that you mentioned there was something like 30 boots, like the yellow boot that goes on the tire whenever you've accumulated enough tickets, and it's a message saying, hey, pay your tickets and we'll come get the boot off. Otherwise you can't drive your car around. Is that a low number? I assume it's a low number for a city of this size, but I don't really know how many boots a typical city is supposed to have relative to its population.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the ideal number would be. I can tell you that they have 30, but they're using 0 of them. So I guess it's that 0 that we should be most worried about. So yeah, the list that I got said that there's 13,000 cars that could be booted. I think there's a few on there that shouldn't be there, that folks have they're paying their tickets off, hasn't been reflected. But I know Mark Maxwell, from KSDK, he got a totally different number from the same office. They said there's 40,000 cars that are eligible to be booted. So either way, it seems like 30 is not enough boots. However, I will say, I think that the inclination to sort of take it easy on folks vis-a-vis parking is not the worst one, because, like for instance, me, I got a ticket. I get a lot of parking tickets. I guess there was one I forgot to pay 4 years ago that got me on this boot list until I looked it up. So I think folks who have just forgotten to pay, 1 or 2 tickets, you don't necessarily want to boot their car or, have them wake up in the morning and their car's not out in the street, it's out in the tow lot. But I think there's some sort of low-hanging fruit, these cars that owe a lot of money, tens of thousands of dollars. I think you start with those. In the city, I talked to Comptroller Donna Behringer. She said, the city could tow these cars. The owners probably owe more than the car's worth. The city could sell it at auction. That would generate some revenue for the city. And she thinks that's money that could, come into the city coffers pretty easily. So I guess, 30 boots, if maybe that's not enough, but why don't they just use the 30 they got?
Right. And this is so beyond like, well, people are going through tough times. They can't pay their parking ticket. No, these people aren't even trying. The ones with thousands of dollars of parking tickets, I would have to actively try. And I wonder how long it would take me to get thousands of dollars of parking tickets in the city of St. Louis. You almost have to be intentional about it. To just try to go out of your way to park illegally at a time when you think someone's going to give you a ticket. I mean, I got a ticket at one of a blues game that I went to, because I guess what they do to force you into the garages is they close off all the street parking. I don't know. I'm very confused about how I would think the city of St. Louis should pay people to come down here and park.
Yeah.
But all of the street parking, there were open spots, and it just said no parking, like during the game. And I did not see that sign. I parked there. I got a ticket and I paid it. But, I guess nothing would have happened if I hadn't paid it. And it was about $50.
Oh wow!
It
Yeah,
was
the ones
expensive.
the ones I get are usually 20. So
Yeah.
that must have been a
A big
real
bad one.
scheme for the city there.
Ryan,
Yeah, no, that is such a good point. The fact that it is. I think that you don't want your average person. You just have an unpaid parking ticket. But yeah, the Central West End. There's the car that owes $42,000 and that keeps parking in the Central West End. I sort of double checked this on Google Maps. The place where they keep parking is just one block away from a street that doesn't have metered parking. So yeah, you're right that they are going out of their way to rack up these tickets almost.
In part of your story, Ryan, there you write about the treasurer who has fixed his own tickets.
Yeah, so this is Treasurer Adam Lane. He runs the treasurer's office, and then the parking division is a subset of that treasurer's office. So yeah, just as in the course of reporting this longer story, I just happened to bump into Mr. Lane at City Hall, and he was in his car. So I was running plates, all over the place, kind of tracking down these cars. So I just figured I'll see if how many tickets, if any, the treasurer himself has. And it turned out, just like anyone, around town, he gets his fair share of parking tickets. I've been certainly in no position to judge there. But yeah, he's been in office for about 5 years now. And over the course of those 5 years, he's got 8 tickets that he's just gone in and voided and, basically taken the balance down to zero without paying.
Okay, so now this is I'm asking for an opinion. Should that just be a perk of the job, or should he have to pay like the rest of us?
Yeah, well, on the one hand, it is a perk of the job. He has this like a placard he can put up in his car that gives him free parking on city meters, city lots if he's out and about for city business. And he said that these are instances where he just forgot to put the placard up in his rear view mirror. Now, which is totally fair. So I guess it is a perk of his job. I talked to some other, elected officials who have a similar perk, and they said that if they forgot to put the placard up, they would say, it's kind of on me. I should have to pay the ticket just like anyone else. So I don't think that it's so much that it's, unethical or, it's certainly legal, but I think it's just kind of a bad look for someone in elected office to avail themselves of this perk that is not available to everyone else.
Ryan, in all seriousness, it sounds like there's no plan.
Yeah, well, there's
like what are we supposed to?
What's the old Trump phrase? There's outlines of ideas of a plan or something like that.
Concepts of a plan.
Yeah.
Concepts of a plan. Yeah, concepts of a plan.
Which might be the most relatable thing for me personally, but
nice. So yeah, the big issue here is that the treasurer's office, which operates at the county level, he's a county level office, sort of like the sheriff or the recorder of deeds. They're sort of just not aligned with the streets department, which operates under the mayor's office, which is obviously a city level office. So they're kind of at this disjunction. However, in theory, at least, someone in one of those two offices has written up a memorandum of understanding, a concept of a plan, where that they could get on the same page so that the treasurer's office could again start booting some cars, presumably just the kind of the worst of the worst. And then the city's streets department would start towing them again, and either having the owner pay them to get out of impound or sell the car at auction. But for I think about 2.5 weeks now, that MOU has gone unsigned by the treasurer's office. He's kind of the bottleneck here, from what I understand. So yeah, I think someone has put together a plan. It's just kind of a matter of getting all the principals on the same page.
Ryan Krull, we appreciate your reporting. This is really, honestly, is very interesting stuff. So thank you.
You got to read his story in St. Louis Magazine about the vehicles racking up $10.7 million in unpaid tickets.
I appreciate it. I think there's a few parking tales yet to be told, so I will. I will
check back in.
We'll do.
We can have here our investigative parking investigative reporter. We need to.
I love it. Yeah, that'll be my new title. I love it. Parking correspondent.
He's
Ryan Kroll is our parking correspondent. And he's got nothing but gotcha questions loaded and ready to go.
There you go.
Thanks, Ryan.
Hey, take care.
Ryan Kroll, St. Louis Magazine with us. Did you see this? Is next on KMOX.
Taking care of your health should be simple. And with the Neovitin monthly subscription, it finally is. Choose your doctor-formulated multivitamin and we'll deliver it straight to your door every month. No more running out, no more remembering to reorder, just consistent nutrition made easy. Plus, subscribers save 10% every month and can pause or cancel at any time. Visit neovitin.com and start your subscription today. Neovitin, trusted nutrition every day.
100 years. That's how long Overhead Door Company of St. Louis has been repairing and replacing garage doors. A century of trust in St. Louis. Always look for the iconic red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis for same-day repair service and no extra charge for evening or Saturday service. Trust your friends at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Schedule online at overheaddoorstlouis.com. That's overheaddoorstlouis.com.
St. Louis, get ready. One of the most powerful voices in country music is coming to the Dome at America Center on March 7th. Zach Bryan, live in concert.
It'll be fun about those clouds, I'm telling you, baby.
With the songs you know by heart.
You can see now.
One night, one stage, an unforgettable night of raw, honest music. Tickets available now at Ticketmaster.com. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
The Builder St. Louis Home and Garden Show returns to America Center March 6th through 8th.
Shop hundreds of local companies for home improvement deals.
Come to our amazing outdoor living space.
Find ideas, inspiration, and expert advice.
Details at STLHomeshow.com.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I own a coffee shop, and I wanted to label everything with our logo.
That's ambitious.
Cups, boxes, bags.
Ooh, that'll add up.
Not at all, because right now, Staples prints custom labels for 30% off.
30% off? That's shockingly affordable branding.
Yep, now our logo and URL are seen all over town.
Brand your business for less at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in store, online, or in the app by 442 Unlock. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Straight Realty has always been an industry leader when it comes to commissions, so it should come as no surprise that the recent Realtor settlement has only empowered us to continue offering our sellers even better rates. We now list homes for only 2%. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Call me, 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
The Cards, the Rockies.
Siteman Cancer Center game time 7:40. Play ball. Siteman Cancer Center, national leader in cancer.
The home of the Cardinals. 104.1 FM KMOX. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX. Now, did you see this? With Chris and Amy.
When are you getting on an airplane next, Ronj? And when you are you flying Southwest?
Potentially, and I think not till April.
Okay. That's not that far. That's next month.
Oh, man. Yeah, I forgot about that.
And we would love to hear from you. I do want to hear from you. 314-436-7900. Have you flown Southwest since they instituted their new seating policy? I think back in January. So they're already having to shift things around because it's a disaster. And a lot of longtime travelers are very unhappy with the way things are working out because now with the assigned seats and the way you buy your seats, people, because people are stupid, are filling up.
Not you listening. You're not
people.
stupid.
Not you people.
Right. Other people.
People in general,
Right.
yes, are stupid. And they get on the plane, and if you're the first aboard, no matter where they're sitting, they're jamming their luggage in the very front.
Yeah.
So now, if you paid extra for a seat, maybe in row 7, you have to walk all the way back to row 20 to find luggage room and then walk back up. And so they're trying to rearrange how people are boarding the plane and putting their their luggage in the overhead compartments so that it's not holding up the process, because right now it is not going well and people are mad. I'm so bummed. I loved Southwest.
In our latest episode of Who Could Have Seen This Coming?
I knew it was coming. I just didn't expect it.
Yeah, Southwest, let's not just do what you've been doing.
Yeah.
The reason people fly you is because of the way you've done things for so many years. And you have to change it up and be like everybody else. That's obnoxious.
Ron still wants the booty shorts back.
The booty shorts?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I think Southwest flight attendants wore booty shorts.
They did?
Yeah, didn't we just talk about this?
I thought it was... No. Well, look that up.
I'm looking it up.
So, did you see that? First of all, did you know there's a state sandwich in Illinois? Right.
No, well, I mean,
There's a state everything.
There's a state nut. Aren't we the walnut?
I don't know. In Illinois, as of right now, the state sandwich is the horseshoe. You know about the horseshoe?
No, I don't actually.
The horseshoe is a sandwich. It's open faced. It's it could be a burger. You can have a horseshoe burger, but
Is
it's
it
the
Illinois
meat.
or Chicago?
Illinois. The state of Illinois. It's the official state sandwich. And it's been that way for many, many decades. It is an open-faced sandwich with cheese and then fries on top of it. Well, there is a legislator in the state of Illinois that wants to change the state sandwich to an Italian beef. You ever had an Italian beef?
I don't know.
I hope this law passes because Italian beef is extraordinary. It's like a roast beef sandwich.
Yeah.
But it's got the au jus and it's all over it. You know, you can pour it on and then they put the jardiniere on it.
Oh. We're gonna have to
mess me up with that.
We're gonna have to talk
Let's
more
go.
about that. And the reason why I asked about Chicago, the horseshoe, do you see that in Collinsville or do you see that in Chicago?
I've had it in Bloomington.
Okay.
There was a place that was the first time I ever had it, but it is a Springfield, Illinois thing.
Abraham
allegedly.
Lincoln invented it, probably.
I don't think Abraham Lincoln invented the horseshoe sandwich.
You don't know.
But a state representative by the name of Rick Ryan has introduced House Bill 4669. Nice. And hopefully, I hope this one passes because the horseshoe is a boring. Italian beef, great. When we come back, we're going to talk to Dave Simons. Maybe he can give us some insight on these gas prices and if they will continue to rise and how it's going to affect you and how this war in Iran is going to affect us on a financial level. That is next with Dave on KMOX.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Little spritzy out there. 42 degrees, periods of rain, could be a thunderstorm. A high today of 57. Tonight, cloudy, occasional rain, maybe another thunderstorm. A low of 47. Weather sponsored by Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm.
Sandberg Phoenix serves your business in litigation, intellectual property, and products liability. We're more than a law firm. We're committed to your success. Learn more at sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It is 10:01. I'm Debbie Monterey. Right now, we've got cloudy skies and 44 degrees in downtown St. Louis. 25 people are accusing the St. Louis Archdiocese of enabling and covering up cases of child sex abuse committed by at least 30 clergy members and other employees. That lawsuit filed in 2024 alleges abuse took place between 1945 and 2021. The Archdiocese and the Archbishop filed a motion to dismiss 7 of the 10 counts in late December. No decision has been made since the filing. The hearing is scheduled for today at 1:30. Gravois is a major connector through St. Louis City. It's also one of the most dangerous corridors and listed as a high injury network.
It absolutely needs to be made safer for both, for everybody, not just cyclists and pedestrians. Although when you make roads safer for cyclists and pedestrians, they automatically become safer for drivers as well.
Chantel Incandela with TrailNet says MoDOT is holding a public meeting today.
MoDOT listens to this feedback. They need to hear from people who live in the area, who use the Gravois regularly.
MoDOT is working on a plan for safety improvements and will take public comments through March 17th. That meeting is from 4 to 7 today at the 5-Star Senior Center on Arsenal. Illinois lawmakers and advocates announcing their intentions to form a bipartisan commission to investigate crimes in the Epstein files that happened in Illinois. State Rep Abdel Nassar Rashid.
The Epstein files that have been released raise serious questions about who knew and who benefited, and whether public corruption, obstruction, sexual exploitation, or other crimes occurred not only under federal law, but also state law.
The independent body would have subpoena power as part of their investigatory toolkit. That bill heads to the General Assembly for consideration. A school in St. Louis County experiencing a chickenpox outbreak. Principia School, a boarding and day school based in Christian Science that encourages using prayers as healing techniques. Students who are not vaccinated have been told to stay home for the next 3 weeks. Fans of a certain pop star have made the dictionary. Dictionary.com saying it has added Swiftie to its digital archives. From the KMOX business desk, a worldwide sell-off for stocks is slamming onto Wall Street And oil prices leaping higher as worries rise that the war with Iran is widening and may do more sustained damage to the global economy than feared. The Dow and other stock indices opened down sharply lower. Stock analyst Michael Farr with Farcrest Advisors says investors don't like uncertainty.
We're processing more news, more developments politically and in terms of the, of course, war in the Middle East than many had expected. The closing of U.S. embassies needs to be repriced by markets.
The Dow currently down more than 1,000 points. The NASDAQ down more than 500 points.
Remaining cloudy this afternoon with occasional rain, even a late-day thunderstorm in spots, high 57. Occasional rain and a thunderstorm tonight, though, 47. Tomorrow, rain at times, along with a thunderstorm or two, high 61. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Cloudy and 44 degrees. The weather sponsored by the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Weather sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
Cardinal Cowboy here. Renner Garage Door has you covered. Renner's been turning garage doors from zero to hero since 1966. RennerDoorSTL.com.
RENNER. Chris Ranji, Amy Marks Scores. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
You are broke. Actually, you may not be.
Well,
but you know somebody who is.
You made direct eye contact with me when you said that, which hurt my feelings.
I'm broke. All right. We are going to help you with that. At least we'll do our part. Hopefully. We are going to talk now to the partner and managing director of One Private Wealth, Dave Simons, who joins us on this very show every Tuesday. Dave, how are you?
I am fabulous. Good, rainy, chilly St. Louis morning.
Yeah, it's, thank God for walls and roofs.
And treadmills, since that's what I had to run on this morning, unfortunately.
He's a machine.
You are a machine.
You're a machine, Dave.
So, and you have a mind like a machine, so we need you to help us out with something. With this new conflict that we have started in Iran, how is that going to affect the markets here? And then ultimately, how will it affect an economy for regular people?
And that is the question, right? Both of those questions. That's what everybody wants to know. So I think most people would be pleasantly surprised to have seen how the markets were pretty sanguine yesterday. I mean, think about this. The first trading day after this happened over the weekend, the Dow finished down 30 points. The NASDAQ was actually up. So people were probably scratching their heads going, really? That's it? Well, as the market had another day to think about it, now we're getting a bigger drop. But overall, 2 days, the market's down 2.5%. That is not a surprise to me. You go back and look at any major geopolitical event, no matter how seemingly serious it is, and this one certainly is, it falls into that category. It's typically never been enough to tank the markets at the beginning. You'd have to look at these really extreme, rare, high standard deviation events like 9/11, but that's not what we're talking about here. So I would tell everybody, Chris, that investors need to just expect a lot of volatility. That doesn't mean the market's going down 15, 20%. I don't think it will. If this thing is really starting to be wrapped up in 4 to 5 weeks, if it goes longer, and oil prices really do go towards $100, that's a whole new game. And you know that we'll be talking about that.
Dave, we know that the conflict currently is widening as Israel has strikes Tehran and Beirut. But we know that Iran's good friend China isn't really doing anything other than saying, oh, sorry for you, buddy. So how much does China's perceivable lack of action right now help the markets be a little bit less volatile than they would have been had China gotten involved right away?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Amy. You nailed it, because Iran has been isolated on the world stage. This is not Ukraine defending itself against Russia and Europe backing Ukraine and the U.S. backing, and this has gone on now for 4 years over there. This is not going to be a 4-year, oh my goodness, we still have U.S. troops on the ground like we had in Afghanistan and a longer time in Iraq back in the 2000s. This is not likely to last that long because Iran's capabilities have been largely neutered, really, and they're not going to get help from virtually any other country. In fact, notice that Iran has been bombing some of their neighbors over there, saying, "Yeah, you guys aren't our friends either," and they're going to run out of ammunition. So it's more kind of a waiting game. Again, I want to be clear. Now, I don't want to be glib about this. I'm not taking this lightly. The key to me is if we really do start to see something resolved in this conflict, this war, let's call it for what it is, in the 4 to 5 week period that President Trump says will happen. If that occurs, this market is not only not going to go down, it'll probably snap back very quickly like it did a year ago after Liberation Day. If we're still talking about this come May or June, that's a whole different ball game, and the market could be down double digits, and oil could be getting close to $100 a share. That's not my base case, but we can't say to totally ignore that. We can't be too glib about it.
So we know that famously after World War II or right around that time of World War II, the economy did have a bit of a boost, but that was a lot about industry. Like there was manufacturing that was happening, and so that there was a boost to the economy. Is that the reason why why war doesn't really give the economy the boost that it used to? Because we're not so much based on industry like that any longer?
Yeah, that's an exception. Obviously, we have had nothing come close to a World War II or even a World War I. But I'll say the quiet part out loud. War is still pretty good for financial markets. Maybe not as much as the post-World War II baby boom industrial type of revolution that we had that came out of that. But it's still pretty good for defense stocks. It's still pretty good overall for the economy because the government starts spending a lot more money that floats and finds its way into the underbelly of the economy and straight into people's pockets. In this case, though, the wild card is oil. Gas prices had already been going up before this. And I would suspect that we're going to start to see that show up in the next couple of weeks or so, the next month. That's why, again, I get back to this 4 to 5 week thing. I think that we can handle a little bit of an extra increase in oil temporarily. But if it stays higher and goes higher, not only are you going to have across the board higher headline inflation, but that's going to put the Fed on hold. All this talk about lowering interest rates because inflation's been tamed will be out the door. And then you have the beginnings of a potential recession. Not our base case, but we cannot dismiss it. And we'll look at this accordingly.
I know you kind of addressed this, but just to kind of clarify the jumble in my mind, how war or conflict like this generally tends to be good for markets. Today, though, I did get, that notification from the Wall Street Journal that the Dow has plunged 1,000 points. Where are we with that? Is it like, this is just the shakeup and then it levels out? Or,
typically.
The timeline for me to kind of say, well, the conflict will be good for the Dow, but also it dropped.
And that's why there's no way to handicap this right now, Amy, in the next couple of weeks. You just can't do it. The Dow could fall another 4 to 5,000 points over the next week or two. But I wouldn't be selling any of my high quality stocks. I think that would be a mistake, just like it was during Liberation Day a year ago, just like it was in the early days of COVID when the S&P crashed. That's what it was, 35% in 5 weeks. Turned out to be a terrible time to divest oneself of any equity holdings. And I think the same thing's going to happen. But let me kind of throw something else out there based on your question here. I have been saying, and we've probably talked about it, I've certainly written it in my weekly commentary and talking to clients about it, that the market has been a little overvalued historically. And it wouldn't take much to have the big boys and girls on Wall Street, the institutional players, start to sell just one little thing. I think this thing has given them some cover, an excuse to say, we really wanted to sell stocks anyway, but our clients probably wouldn't be happy with us if we did that and the market kept going up. Well, now they can use this as an excuse to finally sell some stocks that they've been wanting to sell because their clients probably wouldn't be upset about it right now. I think that's adding to the pressure here.
Talking with Dave Simons on KMOX. With the price of gas now going up, and I went by a gas station yesterday, and I'm pretty positive that it was about 30 cents more than when I went the week before. So, and I don't know if that's just my memory is not good on it, but it does. I think it was like $2.99 when I saw it yesterday, and it was $2.69 prior to that. How is this going to ultimately affect gas prices, which appear to already be on the rise?
Well, and Chris, they'll inevitably go higher. I'm not going to hazard a guess of where we're going. Are we going to $4.50, God forbid, $5 a gallon? I don't think we'll go that high, but we haven't seen the near-term top here yet. But it can be temporary again. And so if we start to see any kind of resolution or breakthrough, or the Iranian Guard start to cry uncle, which I think at some point they're going to probably have to, then you'll see those oil prices come right down. But let's not kid ourselves here. As I take a little swipe at the oil industry, they'll look for any excuse to pass on higher gas prices even before they actually hit. So they're going to, if you start to complain, oh my goodness, I'm now paying $3.50 for gas. This is, well, says the oil company, what do you expect? Haven't you seen what's happening in the Middle East? Well, you haven't even paid those prices yet. It's a little dirty secret that maybe they get ahead of the game a little bit.
Yeah, I will say, people like to cast a partisan lens over gas prices and oil prices and the president as if he has an immediate effect. And obviously, world events have an effect, and presidents can affect world events, but it's not like an American president can walk in and say, now gas prices are going down. And what you just said about the oil companies anticipating maybe some conflict or turmoil feels a little bit like the Wizard of Oz. When they get to Oz and pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. That's how the oil companies feel to me.
Well, there are so many layers, and it's a very complex structure to even come up with the price of gas at the pump. It goes through so many different hands along the way, and it can easily be manipulated one way or the other. This is not a conspiracy theory or anything like that. It's just the price of business and the way it is conducted. Eventually, those prices will come down. But you're exactly right, Amy. The presidents always get way too much credit and way too much blame for things that happen in the economy. I know Donald Trump loves to look at the stock market as a measure of his success. And I've always said, well, be careful about that. Because if things turn against you, even though you had nothing to do with the downturn, then I guess you have to own that. And that's really what happened, if you recall, during the early days of COVID, when the market fell 35%. Yeah, we kind of noticed that the president wasn't talking about the stock market at that point. That wasn't his fault. And that gets back to the point that, you're talking about a multi-trillion dollar economy. And there are so many complex layers that ultimately drive the economy and the stock market. And one person sitting in the White House has a lot smaller effect on it than people might realize.
All right. So one little bit of advice we can give to people who are in the investment game right now is this. We don't have any idea how long this whole thing is going to drag on, but what would you encourage people to do or not do right now?
Continue to focus on your long-term goals. I know that's cliche, but I mean it. Don't let that pass by. Because this too shall pass. That's our base case. That's what we believe. Focus on that. If you have good, high quality stocks, you've got a good mix also of some bonds, maybe some commodities, real estate, whatever your mix is, stick with it. If you have been taking too much risk and you have been trying to ride the wave of AI stocks and you're way out there, okay, maybe you need to consider pulling that back. But I think most people are probably properly diversified. And by the way, do not, please, people who have 401k plans, a lot of times they'll look at this and say, you know what, I'm going to stop investing right now until this blows over. Don't do it. You get to take advantage of these pullbacks. The next time your check has a portion of it go to your 401k, you get to buy cheaper prices. Keep investing, keep your plan intact. No major changes necessary at this point.
Dave Simons, we always appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Amy. Have a great day.
Partner and managing director of One Private Wealth, Dave Simons, with us on KMOX. We will talk Cardinals at the bottom of the hour, 10:30. We will visit with Rob Raines, who is the beat writer and founder of STLSportsPage.com. The Cardinals with an off day in Jupiter, but there's still stuff to talk about. We'll do that coming up on KMOX.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
New tax resolution firms are popping up every day with high-paid celebrity endorsers, advertising ridiculous claims in their TV ads. That's why they have the tiny, unreadable disclaimers at the bottom of the screen. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. Our ads never have those ridiculous, fast-talking, tiny disclaimers at the end because, simply put, there are no guarantees when it comes to the IRS and wiping out tax bills. And we don't make promises we can't keep. Of course, there are ways the Lance Drury Law Firm can help resolve your tax debt, but no company can guarantee it will eliminate it. This is why their clients call the Lance Drury Law Firm when those promises don't pan out. If you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call me, Lance Drury in St. Louis at 314-260-6120 or visit Lance, DRURY law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Too many tools, too much stress, and way too many bills.
Odoo replaces it all. One connected platform for every part of your business, so you can work faster, smarter, and for less. Odoo, the only software you'll ever need. Try it free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Save big money on your next painting project with Menards. Get a paint that combines gorgeous color and durability. Dutch Boys Platinum Plus is a paint and primer with a protective finish that guards against scuffs, spills, and stains. Get $15 off instantly on a single qualifying purchase of $100 or more on Dutch Boy and Purdy products. Now through March 8th. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Start your summer early at the St. Charles Boat Show, March 5th through 8th at the St. Charles Convention Center. The top marine dealers from the Lake of the Ozarks will be on site with the newest boats, personal watercraft, docks, and accessories. Step aboard, compare models, and find the perfect ride for your family. Special show pricing and experts ready to help make your boating dreams a reality. Visit LakeoftheOzarksBoatDealers.com for more information.
This is Megan Lynch. 250 doctors go to Ophthalmology Associates. That's why I trust them. Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Built on a century. Focused on today. The voice of St. Louis. KMOX.
As always, we appreciate your texts at 314-436-7900. We've kind of run the gamut today, Ranj, although we focused a lot on vehicles and gasoline and parking.
We're providing a service, I think, for people.
Do you know what else? And also in the 11 o'clock hour, we're talking about driver's ed, maybe making its way back to Missouri schools. This is a car show. This is basically a car show today.
Mm-hmm.
I had a question Do you remember what my super stupid question was?
About the sloshing of the gas in the gas tank, and if you go uphill, does it affect it?
Yes. And a 636 says the more air in your tank, the more possible condensation. And yes, going up a hill can make a difference if you're that low.
See? Is that for older cars or for all cars? And this is another question
that's a follow-up that
there you go.
Didn't anticipate. Kevin from Manchester also texts in because we were talking about gas prices, and I mentioned Costco and Walmart. Kevin says our Costco gas station here in Manchester opens at 6 in the morning. Big Blonde Dan also says, haven't thought about gas prices in years. Cough, cough, humble brag.
Good for him.
But used to calculate how much it cost to drive to my then girlfriend and now wife's parents' house. She loved that level of guilt. Oh, and Costco is the best.
Our question of the week is on our Twitter account at Chris Amy KMOX. You need to be following it and go vote. And the question is, do you make decisions based on gas prices? For example, do you not go on a trip? Do you decide not to drive 5 hours to 4 hours, whatever it is, to Indianapolis because gas is too expensive? Do you decide not to go visit your parents who live way out in Wildwood because gas was too expensive? Go vote in our poll at Chris Amy KMOX. And here is an unrelated text into the show. And this is for us. It says, our family was at a hotel this weekend. The bathroom had a sliding door. It made Chris and Amy our breakfast discussion topic.
That's delightful.
So we
That
were
is
on
awesome.
we were a breakfast discussion
Aw.
at a hotel because of the bathroom sliding door at hotels. And if you missed that conversation, it was last week or the week before when we railed against the new trend of hotels having the sliding door. And the worst sliding door on the bathroom door is not the one that comes from inside the wall.
Pocket door?
The pocket door. It's the one that's on the outside. So it leaves a little gap.
Mm-hmm. Well,
that you could look in. I could peek into the bathroom if I want to right now. That is so bad when you have a friend with you in the room.
or like I mentioned when I was in Sydney, Australia. Was it Sydney or Melbourne? I can't remember. I think because we went to both, but I think it was Sydney. And I had to share a hotel room with a friend, and I was very modest. It was a guy friend. And the bathroom, they thought it would be a great idea if, you know how there's the toilet, the shower, and the sinks in the hotel bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
And usually the sinks have a mirror above them.
Right.
That what if we didn't do a mirror? What if we just made it half a wall so you could look at the beds?
Yeah.
So if you sat on the toilet, you could make direct eye contact with your friend who's in the bed.
Mm-hmm.
And I know. And I sent you an Instagram
You did.
of
Don't
that
like it.
hotel room.
Yep.
Why
Don't like
would
it.
you ever sit on a toilet and make eye contact with someone else in the room?
So I was going to look, I have a feeling about the bathroom situation where it's the bathroom in its own, like the toilet is in its own room. And then the sink is on the outside.
Oh, I don't like that.
What is that?
So I think that was also the 70s. I stayed at an old Airbnb in Mammoth Lakes, California. And this is how gross it was. The toilet and the shower were jammed together in a tiny room. Then you had a door to a little hallway that had no door, but was carpeted with a sink.
Ew.
Oh. Right?
Like, I suppose that there's a benefit to having the sink outside the bathroom so that the bathroom and the sink are not being occupied all at once.
Brush your
nobody
teeth while your lady friend
But
takes a shower.
I still don't like it. Make a separate sink.
Well, yeah. It's upsetting.
We have Tom, who is visiting with us from Glen Carbon, who's now on the show. Hi, Tom.
Hi, guys. Good morning.
Same to you.
Well, if I'm on the St. Louis side, I will always top off at the QT on Lilac on my way back to Illinois across 270 because save 20 cents a gallon.
It's a lot.
Yeah, Illinois has always been a little more expensive, as long as I can remember. And so my family did the same when my grandmother lived in Baldwin and we were still in Illinois and we'd come over. We'd usually get gas in Missouri.
And you really, when you notice gas prices, obviously I've driven to Colorado quite a bit. and you drive through Missouri, you get through Kansas, but man, once you hit Colorado, holy moly, and like Denver, the gas goes up a lot, and it kind of slaps you in the face a bit. Quick note, Sam's Club, according to a 314, seems to be about 40 cents cheaper than other gas stations. People swear by Sam's and Costco.
You have to have but you also have to have the membership, and the membership costs money too, right?
It does.
I don't know. I have no idea how much a Sam's Club or a Costco.
$75 a year. And you do, I will say, if you're shopping there,
regularly,
you'll make it up. Yeah.
Yeah, if you do it regularly, for sure. Amy Marks Korsen, Chris Ranji with you until 12 o'clock today. Then it's the Gas House Gang. This is a Bernie Miklasz Day on Gas House. It'll be Bernie, Ackerman, and me. We've got Cardinals baseball discussion and more at 12. In fact, let's talk a little Cardinals now with Rob Rains from STLSportsPage.com. He is in Jupiter, Florida, and he is next.
Who's been talking about St. Louis sports since 1985? Bernie Miklasz.
March the 26th, first game, Busch Stadium, Tampa Bay Rays at Cardinals. The first Cardinal to bat in 2026. That will be J.J. Wetherholt. So the point is, he'll be on base a lot. He has tremendous on-base skills, and I think that's what you want in the leadoff hole.
Bernie Miklasz. Hear what he has to say on the voice of the St. Louis Cardinals. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
If snow and cold has you thinking spring, why don't you do something constructive and call Chesterfield Fence and Deck? Let this be the year that you have that beautiful outdoor space that you've always wanted. Whether you're talking about a new deck, a patio, a pergola, they do all of it. And of course, fences as well, sunrooms, screen rooms. You can visit their beautiful showroom in the Chesterfield Valley. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best since 1968. All of their products are guaranteed by a 5-year labor warranty, comprehensive material warranties provided. They have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Now, if you're looking for the rock bottom cheapest price, Chesterfield Fence and Deck is not it. What they are is the company that guarantees their work and has been doing great work for 57 years. Quality work that will last for a long, long time. So you can enjoy your outdoor space for years to come. If you mention me, Debbie Monterey, they'll offer you 48 months interest-free financing. ChesterfieldFence.com.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
42 degrees, still pretty spritzy and drizzly. Rain and thunderstorms today, a high of 57. Cloudy with occasional rain and more thunderstorms tonight, a low of 47. Weather sponsored by SNL Coins.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
You can feel the Clydesdales circling the field. Hear the stands come alive. Smell the hot dogs, the popcorn, and cold beer in the air. See the crowd rise as the first pitch hits the glove. And just like that, a new season begins. The countdown is on until opening day, and tickets start at just $49. Don't miss St. Louis's favorite holiday. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/opening day.
This season, step up to the ultimate game day experience with Cardinals all-inclusive tickets. Enjoy a full buffet, complimentary bar, and unbeatable views inside Busch Stadium. It's great food with great company for every pitch, hit, and home run. Choose your experience in the Budweiser 703 Club, UMB Champions Club, Proficient Red Jacket Club, and more. See the game like a VIP with all-inclusive tickets. On sale now at cardinals.com/tickets.
The 46th Builder St. Louis Home and Garden Show, presented by James Hardy, is back.
This St. Louis tradition returns to America's Center March 6th through 8th.
Shop hundreds of local companies for home improvement deals.
Find ideas, inspiration, and expert advice.
Come tour amazing outdoor living spaces, learn from expert gardeners, and browse our spa showcase to turn your backyard dreams into reality.
The Home and Garden Show is back at America's Center March 6th through 8th.
Details at stlhomeshow.com.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Bernie Nicholas and the Gas House Gang, today at noon on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
Delivers 2-2 on the ground, third base side. Diving play by Gorman. From a knee, sidearm throw to first. And the stretch is perfect by Alec Burleson. What a corner connection from the third baseman and the first baseman for St. Louis. There's the first out of the inning, one away.
Cardinals baseball, none today because, I don't know, they're off. How about that? But Grapefruit League is ongoing, and we are still, we're getting close to opening day here. It's coming up at the end of this month, but still a ways to go before we get there. Depends on how you look at it, right? We are now joined by Rob Rains, Cardinals beat writer and founder of STLSportsPage.com, who is with us from Florida. Rob, how's it going today down there? There we are. I'm sorry, Rob, we didn't hear you right off the top.
As I was going to say, before you ask, it's 78 and sunny. So just to get that out of the way.
Right. Well, we weren't going to because
sorry to rub it in, but that's what we do.
It's 43 and it's raining right now.
Good thing there's no baseball down there today. Can't have that.
No, plenty of time for the beach or the pool or the golf course.
So anything stick out to you in the Cardinals who were reassigned to minor league camp yesterday? There were 11 teams that, and this is part of the process. This is how it goes. They continue to whittle down the major league camp and send guys to the minor league camp. This is as the weeks go on here. So anything really stick out to you in those decisions?
Yeah, not really. Most of the pitchers who sent down were guys that have been, coming back from injury. So they already were, even though they technically were in the camp and on the roster, they were already part of the rehab program. So it just kind of moves our workouts from one clubhouse to the next. It doesn't really change anything for any of those guys. Durangelo Sinjay, the new young pitcher that they got from Seattle in the Donovan trade, was also included in the cuts, but that was mostly because, some of those younger guys are not going to make the big league club anyway, at least to start the season. If they're going to be a starting pitcher, when the other guys start to get their more innings in and their starts and stuff, those innings get squeezed. So you need to send some of those guys over to the minor league camp so they can get, their arms built up and be ready for those seasons when they begin here at the end of the month too.
The name, sorry, Amy, go ahead. I was going to say the name that we have paid so much attention to is J.J. Weatherholt, because there's a lot of excitement when you've got one of the top 5 prospects in baseball and he's on your roster, and it looks like he's going to make the club out of spring training. That's not decided for sure yet, but it sure looks that way. And he's everybody we've talked to, Rob, from a national perspective, they have said about him that his bat is pretty much ready to go. And we've seen that he's had really good command of, of his plate appearances. He's drawn a bunch of walks. Like, he really seems to have some mature presence there.
Yeah, and he played, college ball at West Virginia, so he's not, he's basically about the same age as Jordan Walker is. So you kind of get a comparison about, when you draft a guy out of high school versus drafting a guy out of college. But I think he's the real deal. I don't think the stage is too big for him. I've gotten to know him pretty well. I've done a couple of stories on him over the last couple of years for our website, longer profile pieces. And I think he's very mature, very, calm, very, understands the moment, and I don't think it's going to be too big for him. I think he's drawn 6 walks and 16 plate appearances. As you said, he's not going to swing at bad pitches. I think he's going to make contact. I don't think he's going to be a big home run hitter because that's not his style of play. He's not that big a guy physically, but he's made a couple of good plays yesterday at second base. So I think all indications are pointing toward that direction, and I'd be basically stunned if something else happened between now and the end of the month.
Yeah, it's important that you brought that up about Jordan Walker, because we've seen quite a bit of him. Relatively speaking, we've seen nothing of J.J. Weatherholt yet at the big league level, but Walker is only 4 months older.
Yeah, and that makes a difference. I mean, and we tend to forget, especially not even just while guys are in the minors, but once those guys get to the big leagues, Thomas and JC, I think, is the same age too. So you just forget how young some of these guys are when they get up here. Wynn's like a year older than both of those guys. So and that's what we've talked about, as part of this rebuilding process, is this is going to be a young team. There's no question about the main guys that you're going to be counting on for, production and leadership, all those, the things that go into a winning ball club. It's going to be coming from younger players. They just are not going to have, they got a couple of guys on the pitching side. Ryan Stanig's an older player, but, Palante, I think, just hit 30, Riley O'Brien. But by and large, especially among the position players, you're talking about a group of 20-something-year-old players. So that's one of the reasons why I think it's going to be fun to watch and see how they develop.
Rob, when you look at spring training games, a lot of times I'll hear maybe more veteran players, the guys that have been in the league, they're ready for the season to start. But for these younger guys like a JJ Weatherholt, are they grateful for the time in spring training? Like, do those games feel, look, and operate differently for them than the veterans?
Yeah, I've never really asked him that question, but I can see where that would be the case. Especially I think maybe not for him so much this year as opposed to like last year, his first year in the big league camp. I think he did a lot of just kind of observing and watching and learning and seeing how guys went about their business, especially again on a team like last year when the Cardinals still had a lot of veteran players in their clubhouse. So I think he probably, to me, without even asking him, probably feels a little bit more comfortable this year, because he does have that year's experience, and a lot of the guys that are in that clubhouse with him are guys that he played with either at Springfield or Memphis last year. But yeah, I do think that you can read too much into statistics in spring training. They, obviously Cardinals have a lot of data that they compile that is not reflected in the box scores that show up every day in the newspaper or online. And so I think that's, they use all of that to in making the decisions that they make about who makes the club or who won't make the club.
What is your read on Dustin May, who's on a little bit of a different program than everybody else, but still likely to be in the rotation?
Yeah. Oh, I don't. Unless there's this injury setback, he'll be in the rotation. I mean, they're not worried about him. I think it's just a matter of they figured out the best way to try to kind of build his progression up, and that was the way a lot of the similar ways to what Sonny Gray did a year ago. He actually is going to make the start on Thursday. He's going to be take the bus and ride over to Bradenton and start against the Pirates because that was the way it worked out with his schedule. So when a lot of veteran players don't want to do that travel, they want to just pitch home. But from a schedule standpoint, it worked out that way. So the one sim game he pitched, he had more velocity, I think, than the Cardinals expected. So it will be interesting to see how that translates to a stadium game on Thursday. But they're very encouraged by what they've seen from him so far.
Okay, so I mean, in terms of the recovery and being ready to go and actually pitching in games that matter, there's no reason, unless there's a setback, like you said, there's no reason to think that he won't be ready to go.
No, he'll get his work in. He'll get at least four starts in stadium games, and so that'll be. And I think he pitched 3 innings in the other game the other day, so I think he'll start at 3 innings as opposed to the other guys when they make that early turn they're only going 2. So yeah, I think he'll be built up to go 5 or 6 innings, but by the time we camp for sure.
So we got the news just a couple of days ago that Oliver Marmol has a contract extension with the Cardinals, so he will be with the team through 2028. The team has an option for 29 that they can pick up. What are your thoughts on the job he's done and this extension?
Well, I wasn't surprised by it. The only question was when they were going to do it. I think had Chaim Bloom decided he wanted to change managers, he would have done it before, we got a couple weeks into spring training. So it was just a question of when they, had got time to get the deal finalized and signed and announced. And it makes sense. I mean, he's knows these guys. He's bought into what they're trying to do as far as he talked at the news conference about the trust in giving him the job and about the alignment that he feels with the front office people about what they're doing, what the strategy is. And he's obviously had experience coaching young players in the minor leagues. He spent 5 years as a minor league manager after his playing career in the system before he joined the major league coaching staff. So I think especially with the emphasis on teaching and learning and player development, that I think it's probably a good fit. And we'll see. I think you're going to judge. This is going to be one of those strange years that you're not going to necessarily judge the team's improvement or progress by merely the win-loss total. I think everybody obviously expects there to be some growing pains and some lessons that are learned and things like that. I personally think they're going to be better than some people think, but I'm not going out there and predicting they're going to win the division. But I think there'll be other ways that you measure success and how players improve than just merely how many games this team wins.
Yeah, a lot of what projections that I've seen have them under 70 wins. You don't think it'll be that bad?
No, I don't. I would say somewhere in the 70s would be my guess. And I also think it's going to be a very competitive division. The Cubs are going to be favored to win, and they're probably the best team in the division. But I think the gap between the first place team and the last place team is probably going to be, single digits in terms of number of games, maybe 10 at the most. Because I think the Pirates are better. I think the Reds will be competitive. And I never count out the Brewers at all. So, I think that's, it's not like the Cardinals are going to have to beat the Dodgers or beat the Yankees or Toronto. They're luckily they're in a division that I think everybody's pretty much working under the same payroll, guidance and philosophies and things like that.
Rob Rains, as we are now just over 3 weeks away from actual baseball, the 26th is going to be opening day. The Cardinals have the Rays, which is not the most exciting opener, but I guess baseball is baseball, right? So they'll host Tampa Bay. That's to start the season on Thursday, the 26th. We are still, as I said, just over 3 weeks away from that. What have you, as this spring training has progressed, has anything really stuck out to you? Has anything caught your eye that maybe you did not expect going into camp?
Well, the two position battles I think that everybody's focused on is left field and catching. Left field obviously is Lars Nootbaar's spot, but there's pretty much a foregone conclusion that he's not going to be ready to start the season. He's still not cleared to do all baseball activities, even from a workout standpoint, let alone get into a game. So, we don't have a timetable on whether he's going to be out, a month, 2 months, or whatever. So I think that's who's going to win that job and how they're going to handle that position is something to watch. They've had 5 guys start out in left field already in the first 10 games. So there's a number of candidates to win that job. So that's going to be a battle that I think we're going to watch throughout the spring and to see who emerges. And then, we still don't have a reading on if, what Kevon Herrera's progression is as far as catching is concerned. He had the offseason elbow surgery. They're hoping it's, made a difference in his throwing, but he's only caught a couple of games. One of those was the sim game for Dustin May. So 3 innings of actual game experience so far behind the plate, and nobody tried to run on him. So those are both going to be questions that we watch the rest of spring, and that will have a factor in, not only who plays, but who else makes the roster and the backups in those positions.
Rob Rains, good to talk to you again. Thank you for being with us today.
Anytime, guys. Thank you. Stay warm.
You too. Well, I guess it'll be easy down there in 78.
It'll be 80.
Easier for me than you. Sorry.
Dang it.
It'll be 80 on Friday. Might be
that's cool.
Rainy, but thanks, Rob.
Rob is the founder of STLSportsPage.com, covering the Cardinals from Jupiter, Florida. Right now, again, they are off, but they'll get back at it soon enough. Don't worry about that. We have the Gas House Gang at 12 o'clock today. Bernie is going to be on. Tom Ackerman is going to be on. So will I. And Matt Pauley is going to be live from Florida with a check-in there. And we'll get his thoughts on everything that's going on with Cardinals spring training. We are getting close to actual real baseball. And can't wait to tell you about this ticket deal coming up. Oh, baby, it's hot. It's been the cause of so much discussion. What a great ticket deal.
You sound like the ticket seller.
I know. Can't wait to take part.
He's not even on commission, folks.
It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends at Michael's Baths. Were you feeling a little embarrassed when the family came to visit for the holidays and all you could think about was your bathroom not quite being up to par? Now is the perfect time to plan ahead for a spring installation of a beautiful new bathroom. At Michael's Baths, we specialize in beautiful, safe bathroom remodels, from tub to shower conversions to full renovations, including paint and electrical work. Call 636-775-0800 or go to michaelsbaths.com. Mike is a great guy, does great work. That's michaelsbaths.com.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Tax season is here, and Missouri families are already seeing the real impact of the Working Families Tax Cut Act. House Republicans are delivering real results for hardworking Missourians. According to the Council of Economic Advisors, the bill is projected to raise wages in Missouri by about $3,000 to $6,000 over the next 4 years. That's more money for groceries, gas, and greater security for your family's future. In Congress, I'm working to protect working families, strengthen our economy, and ensure you are keeping more of your hard-earned money.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Every spring brings promises, and every spring delivers surprises. This year, the Cardinals are writing a new story, and there will be plenty of surprises. Matt Pauley is in Jupiter with inside access to Camp Cardinals.
Presented by St. Louis Composting. Composting, growing gardens and making memories. And Happy Roof. We always create happy endings.
From breakout performances to roster revelations, get reports throughout the day on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
When was the last time you watched your home movies? Disasters strike unexpectedly. Every year, American families lose the one thing they'd run back into a burning building for, their family's memories. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Adam. We started Legacy Box to help save your family's most important recorded moments so you don't have to worry.
Load Legacy Box with your old movies, film reels, and shoeboxes of photos.
We work our digitizing magic, converting those memories right to the cloud so they're safe and accessible forever.
It's fast, we always send your originals back, and it's done right here in the USA.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box. Better Homes and Garden, Real Simple, and Inc. Magazine are all talking about Legacy Box.
New York Times columnist David Pogue says, have them digitized. I wish I'd done it sooner. Take action. Save your family's memories today with Legacy Box.
Go to legacybox.com/value to get an incredible 50% off your Legacy Box. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off while supplies last. legacybox.com/value.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. Stewie, I think this is going to be a strange season for real estate. Just kind of feel it in my gut. What can people do apropos of their mortgage to put themselves in a better position to get that house?
You know what, Dave, that's a great question. There's a bidding wars that are going to happen this spring. You want to get the house. This is how you're going to make things better. Number one, we give you the power of the pre-approval letter. That means you can go into our portal and generate the letter and edit it for any amount you want, up to the amount you're approved without chasing the loan officer. Number two, the bagel loan, no closing costs, no title fees, no lender fees, no appraisal fees. It's a bagel. Bagel looks like a zero, easy to remember. Add that money you would normally pay onto your bid and beat the other offers out. And you know what? The third thing is we can close fast. 10 days. They're going to look away at the other offers because most lenders take as much as 30 days to get done.
You can call or text Stewie at his personal cell phone, 314-324-4440, or you can Google the bagel loan, NMLS 226715.
For 100 years, KMOX has been a part of St. Louis. Now, those moments live on, preserved, remastered, and ready to be heard again. Discover KMOX from the Archives, a podcast featuring classic audio from a century of service.
Sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
The KMOX from the Archives podcast, available now at KMOX100.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Straight Realty has always been an industry leader when it comes to commissions, so it should come as no surprise that the recent Realtor settlement has only empowered us to continue offering our sellers even better rates. We now list homes for only 2%. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Call me 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX and the free Odyssey app. Now, the question of the week with Chris and Amy. And remember, you can always vote in the X poll at Chris Amy KMOX.
Yep. We've got tickets to give away to see Zach Bryan. We are not doing it right now, so don't freak out because you people don't know when to listen to instructions.
Gosh.
I say one thing, and like, oh, let me get my phone and call it right. No, not right now. We're going to do it before the show's over.
Remember when I said earlier in the show that people are stupid? I said people
not
are stupid.
Our people.
Yeah, but you said you people.
Oh.
Remember when you can't say you people, these people, those people. You just say people.
Ah, dang it. I screwed that up,
Between
didn't I?
you people and the threats, I feel like we're walking on a knife's edge.
Well, you people need to be paying attention to the rest of the show. Before 12, we'll give away Zach Bryan tickets for this Saturday at the Dome, thanks to AEG, giving away those tickets for us to give away to you. Also, we have what we are now. We've firmly decided on what we're going to call our tournaments this year because we're getting close to March Madness. That will happen in 2 weeks, the weekend of we have the 20th and the 22nd is when the games are happening in St. Louis, the first and second round games. So I guess March 19th is when it starts.
And if you're driving, you can just pull over because you're going to be mad.
Why? Oh, at our
Because
tournament?
it's stupid. We picked it.
Yeah.
And it's so decidedly stupid. But listen, if you're listening to the show, you should be ready for this.
Every year in March, we do some kind of tournament. We've had the sandwich tournament. We had the pizza tournament, which we called Mott's Madness.
Which was stupid.
It was stupid.
Yeah.
And then we always have some sort of scandal because something always goes wrong. We're not trying,
We had
but
the sandwich scandal when Paschetti's won.
yeah, we had the Alfonso's scandal because we didn't know which Alfonso's people were talking about.
Until we were way too deep.
We were
way too
way
deep
too
into the
far.
tournament. We didn't know which Alfonso's.
I think we were like the Elite Eight, and someone goes, wait, hold on a second. Which Alfonso's is this? They're spelled different, too. All right, so this year we hope to have no controversies, but we cannot promise anything. And we are asking you, what is the best bar in the St. Louis area that includes the Metro East?
Yeah.
And we are calling our tournament Barch Madness. It is the Barch Madness
Madness
tournament. So,
which is a combination of bar, march, and arch. Because we're in St. Louis.
all right, now you're really confusing it.
Barch Madness sounds so dumb. I can't tell if it reminds me of a tree or a dog.
It's one of them.
Because the larches in fall are very pretty.
What is a larch?
It's like an aspen, but it's different.
That's nice.
You can tell it's an aspen because of the way it is.
So tweet at us at Chris Amy KMOX. Give us your submission for what you think is the best bar in the St. Louis area. You can also text us too at 314-436-7900.
Oh, no.
We also have a question of the week.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hence the segment, the question of the week.
Amy?
That started this.
You got me so distracted with Barch Madness.
Yeah.
Well, we told you this was a car show today. It's been an automobile show, whether we're talking about parking or gas. And so we said, let's make our question of the week gas-centric.
Okay. And so our
And so
question
our
of the
question
week.
is, do you change your habits because of gas prices? You know, whether it's where you go visit someone or where you get your gas. Do you change your habits at all because of fluctuating gas prices?
Yeah.
That's on at Chris Amy KMOX on Twitter.
So do you do you not go visit grandma because
Right.
gas is too expensive? Do you not take that 4 or 5 hour trip in the car because gas costs too much in the moment? Let us know at Chris Amy KMOX. And you can
Unbelievable.
vote there.
And then you've got the Gas House Gang
Mm-hmm.
at noon.
A lot of gas
There's
today.
so much gas on this show.
A lot of gas and a lot of puns. We do a lot of puns here.
Barch Madness is actually upsetting to me,
I love it.
which
though.
is why
I
I
it's
think
gonna
we
really-
should go with it.
It's going to make so many. So what we'll do, here's what we'll do. We'll have the word Barch and B, A, and R are a different color than the C and H. Barch Madness. Do we have the ability to have different colors in our font, or do we have to pay extra for that? Somebody
have
needs
the
to find out.
I don't know if we have that in the budget.
We don't have it in a budget?
We're monochromatic budget.
The good news is, though, I don't think this was on our list. We finally got our first Hooters as the best bar.
Isn't it closed?
South County. Best
There's still a South
bar.
County.
Hooters.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
There's also one in Maryland Heights.
Hey, what if we do a question of the week one week, and it's about it's for people with no fortitude whatsoever. It's the question of the week, WEAK. Do you like the idea of a question of the week?
Love that.
I'm so weak. And here's my question.
How am I going to go on?
All right. Final hour of the show, and
I'm putting Hooters on the list. While
put
you do
Hooters
that.
on the list. Thank God you people in Missouri are going to finally start to have to train before you drive. Because it's you people, because you don't know how to drive in Missouri because you never took driver's education. Well, there is a proposal to make sure Missouri drivers learning to drive have to learn to drive before they drive. And we'll tell you about
Yeah.
that when we come back on KMOX.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-491-9914. 800-491-9914. That's 800-491-9914.
Breakfast burritos for the morning brainstorm. Easy Cater. Paninis for the lunch and learn. Easy Cater. Barbecue for the clients from Boston. Easy Cater. Brownie boxes and mini bundt cakes for Brenda's workiversary. Easy Cater. One simple platform to feed any size group with food they love from favorite restaurants, plus tools to help you meet dietary needs and stay on budget. Easy Cater. All the food for your workplace, all in one place. Start an order at easycater.com.
If you love sports, this is the show for you. It's You Better You Bet with me, Nick Costos. Weekday mornings 9 to noon Eastern on the free Odyssey app and YouTube at The Costos. Bringing you the biggest NFL news, guests, and notes from the offseason while getting you ready to win the madness of college hoops. It's You Better You Bet with me, Nick Costos. Live and interactive, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern, presented by BetMGM. Download the Odyssey app and listen from anywhere for sports talk from people who love sports.
The reason many of us hate insurance companies is because some of them act like bullies. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. I've been dealing with these creatures my whole career. Whether it's a workers' comp claim, an auto accident, or a nursing home or medical mishap, the playbook is often the same: deny and delay. We became the largest injury firm in America for a reason. We fight the bullies. They know who we are, and I know it makes a difference for our clients. Just go to forthepeople.com and see our results and our verdicts after those bullies gave us their final offer. Hiring the wrong firm can be disastrous. Hiring the right firm could substantially increase your settlement. It's easy to get going. Visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer, or call us on your cell at Pound Law, pound 529. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It is 11 o'clock. We do have some rain in the region. It's still cloudy downtown, 47 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterey. A historian and attorney says we're in uncharted waters when it comes to who will ultimately rise to power in Iran.
We are as close as we have ever been to regime change in Iran since the Islamic Revolution of 1979.
Isaac Amon is a lecturer in law at Washington University and St. Louis School of Law. He says even without a supreme leader, the current regime in Iran may turn to brutal means to retain a grasp on power.
President Trump said recently something like 50 members of the top echelon have been killed. There's complete chaos and disarray, as far as I understand, on the ground. And there is, of course, a yearning from vast parts of the Iranian population to rise up and overthrow it.
Amon cautions U.S. citizens in the Middle East and on American soil could be targets for retaliation. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Celebrations did erupt following the killing of the Iranian Supreme Leader Saturday. Robbie Archin moved to Louisville 18 years ago after fleeing Iran. While she is hopeful for the future of the country, she also worries about her family in Tehran.
I was watching the news and I saw one of the bombs hit very close to her house. Hopefully she's safe. Hopefully she's fine.
The Dow and other stock indices opened down sharply lower. Stock analyst Michael Farr with Farcrest Advisors says markets are trying to price in the war and the impact it's having in the U.S. and the world.
The price of oil goes up. That's an economic headwind. When energy costs go higher, we're seeing prices at the pump already start to rise here in the U.S.
Currently, the Dow is down almost 704 points, the NASDAQ down 340. Medical professionals in many parts of the country have never seen a measles case and then are suddenly faced with an outbreak. Dr. Alex Garza, SSM Health Chief Community Health Officer, tells Total Information AM that's why there are algorithms and protocols that clinics and hospitals follow.
Things such as
You don't want to bring them into the waiting room. You want to bring them into a separate entrance. You want to have the nurse physically go out into the parking lot to take a look at the child to see if this looks like a suspicious case of measles.
Garza says established communication channels between public health officials and medical facilities in the event of measles cases are suspected and diagnosed. A measles outbreak has been confirmed at Principia School in West County. From the KMOX business desk, what to do about Gravois?
Gravois is one of the most dangerous corridors in the city. Gravois is listed as a high injury network. TrailNet has also pointed out Gravois as one of the most dangerous roads in St. Louis City.
Chantal Incandela with TrailNet says Gravois is very wide, so people speed because it feels like a highway, and because it cuts diagonally, lights and turns are different. MoDOT is working on a plan to make Gravois safer and is holding a public meeting tonight to get input from people who live and work along the major connector. Incandela urges people to attend, adding that making it safer for pedestrians and cyclists will also make it safer for cars. The meeting is from 4 to 7 today at the 5-Star Senior Center on Arsenal.
Overcast skies and damp this afternoon with occasional rain. There could even be a rumble of thunder late, the high 57. Occasional rain and a thunderstorm tonight, 47. Cloudy tomorrow with rain at times. Also a thunderstorm or two in the area, the high 61. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now it's cloudy. We do have rain in the area. It's 45 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Weather sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
Cardinal Cowboy here. Renner Garage Door has you covered. Renner's been turning garage doors from zero to hero since 1966. RennerDoorSTL.com.
RENNER. The Chris and Amy Show is video streaming now on KMOX's YouTube, X, and Facebook pages. Click and subscribe.
I am going to hand this over to a passionate believer in the topic of driver's education. I think you have to bring this in. This is your, what would you call it? Your mission, your purpose in life?
Okay, this is my purpose in life in the sense that I think somebody who becomes a surgeon should have to go through medical school. It's the same.
Well, I believe in that purpose too.
Yeah, like I don't think you should just get to go take the MCAT to become a doctor? Isn't that what it's called? I don't think you should just go right to MCAT. I think you should have to go through some sort of training first before you can become a doctor. Likewise,
people listening right now are going, what are they doing to the MCAT?
I think likewise, in the state of Missouri, you should have to go through some sort of training before you go and take your driver's test, which I'm sure in this state, all they do is, you know how to put it in drive. Do you know what
why was that so creepy?
Do you know where the turn signal is? And then
blinker fluid. You got your blinker fluid.
You know where the washer is? Where the washer fluid is? Like I think that's probably the end of all of the training that you have to do here in the state of Missouri to become a driver. Because anybody who is from outside the state of Missouri and drives through Missouri realizes, oh my God, any of you with a Missouri plate, you don't know what you're doing.
First of all, what you said, the way you posited how you get your driver's license in Missouri is super, I think, condescending and offensive, but also correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank God that there is at least one Missouri legislator out there who wants to do something about it, because a new proposal would make driver's education mandatory for people, kids, who are learning to drive and who are working toward their driver's license. And so this is a bill that, oh my gosh, I cannot believe, first of all, this has not been a thing before, but it has been proposed in the past, because for decades, it has not really been a thing where every school district has required it. I think there are some in the state of Missouri that do require you to do it, but it is no longer a mandate from the state that you have to learn how to drive before you actually do.
I think Matt, our youngster here, the youth in the room, you said it was optional. It was offered, but optional.
Yeah, it was like a gym class elective. You could take gym or driver's ed or a health class. It was, I don't know why, But it was optional. Yeah.
Just completely. It's madness.
And I did not take it.
These are vehicles. These are 3,000, 4,000 pound vehicles at least. These are weapons that you ride in, and you don't have to take any training for it whatsoever. It's just, hey, show up for the driver's test. See, I grew up in Illinois where we have some sense. We had actual mandatory training, and I have seen photographs from like the 60s here in Missouri where people have those driving simulators in a classroom. And that's what we had. We had a classroom in my high school where there were these driving simulators, and they were kind of, they were low tech.
What were they, like 8-bit? What was a driving simulator back in 1979?
There was a video screen in 1970s, it was in the 90s. So there was a video screen in front of you with like a road, and then you sat at this thing with a steering wheel. Yeah, and like you had to go through, they were teaching you how to actually.
Not joking, but just being transparent. I actually didn't even know that they had driving simulators. All the driver's ed that I've seen, whether it be talking to people or on TV shows, it's just a guy.
No, I mean, this is a real thing.
Wow.
So that was part of the class. I mean, of course, you learn the rules of the road. You go through the actual rule book, which everybody should go through. And then there were parts of the class where you graduated to the simulators where they show you how to make turns and, how to put it into drive and when to go, when not to go, who gets the right of way, all of that stuff. And then you get into actual cars with a driving instructor, and then you drive around town. This just seems like completely logical, and I would think would be automatic. And now it has taken Roger Reedy out of Windsor, a Republican out of Windsor, to introduce House Bill 2195. And so there was a hearing on Wednesday of last week as they talk about this bill. To me, and I joke a lot about how bad Missouri drivers are, and I'm sorry to tell you, but you all are very, very bad.
So,
and I have said that it's got to be at least partly because of this, because you are not required to actually take some sort of class, some sort of education on driving before you get into a car and test for your license. Because let's be honest, anybody who has taken a driver's test, it's not that thorough. You've taken one.
Oh, I think I got my permit and then 2 weeks later got my license.
Yeah,
I think I just went boom, boom.
You know where the turn signal is? All right, make a left turn here. Okay, park here. All right, you get a license.
I failed immediately pulling out of the parking lot because it was left turn yield on green, and I was nervous, and I just turned left on green, and I failed immediately.
Amy, in your defense, it's a big leap to go from the horse-covered wagon to the car. It's a huge jump.
When did we say you could turn your microphone on?
I'm sorry.
There you go. So listen to this number. As of 2025, as of a year ago, Amy, only 39% of applicants passed the written exam in Missouri.
Yeah.
39%. It's less than half. It's flirting with a third. So you're telling me that almost 2 out of every 3 people failed the written exam in Missouri.
That I did not fail, but I believe that. And okay, quick note, in all seriousness, and this isn't from the Missouri Independent, Missouri teens compared to surrounding states that do require some form of formal driver's education.
This is madness.
Missouri teens are 80% more likely on average to be involved in a crash compared to states that don't.
See, this is just another example of why I'm in favor of regulation, because the state let this lapse. They let it go away.
So that's a question.
When the state should have been on this, like, no. Let's have some little common sense here. If we're going to put 15 and 16-year-olds in vehicles, they better take some classes first. That's just common sense. It's madness that this state let that go.
Well, and that's the thing. When you say let it go, let it lapse, and even the Missouri Independent says that they're bringing back driver's ed. Where's the year? When did it go?
I don't know the exact year. I've been looking for it, and I can't find it. So I think in the 60s, it looks like at least in the 60s it was being done.
We have a texter who said in the 70s, this texter went to McClure High School in the 70s and had the screen in front of a steering wheel and 4 on the column.
Right. But it's not. So there are some places where they do teach it in school, or it's an option, like Pajeski said,
Mhm.
but it is not mandatory. It should be mandatory for everybody who is expecting to get a license someday. I just can't believe this is even a question.
Yeah. A 314 said, I had both of our children go to Lindbergh High School to take driver's ed, and we paid for it to get the certificate to get a better rate for insurance. They had simulators. I wonder, it says they had them go to Lindbergh High School for driver's ed. I wonder if they weren't students there.
Yeah.
And you could take the class, because
question.
would, for instance, homeschool students be able to go to a public school and take driver's ed? Would Catholic school students, private school?
Yep.
Because if it's required, it would be required not just for public school, right? It would be required for all drivers.
See, that I don't know. I don't know, because in my town we had grade schools that were Catholic schools, but we only had one high school.
Mhm.
But there were people who lived in Granite City who went to is Pure Marquette a Catholic school? I think it is. So people went there, and I think some people went to Althoff, but mostly people who lived there went to the public school, and we all had to take it, all of us. And this texter from a 314 says, Illinois residents must forget what they learned in driver's education pretty quickly. I think they are as bad as Missouri drivers, if not worse. Incorrect. Completely, unequivocally
I
incorrect.
think in this area,
you are terrible here.
The worst drivers in this area, meaning like the city, going to work, coming back, I feel like have Illinois plates. You said it's because they're frustrated.
I think they're frustrated with how bad you are here. Because when I drive, it's. Let me give you just a little microcosm of it. You know how I have real frustration if I'm at a traffic light and the person in front, the light turns green and they just sit there and they don't move because they're not paying attention. Well, all of you in Missouri, just let them continue to sit. Nobody honks. Nobody does the little double tap like,
that's
hey,
the least of the offenses.
Yeah, but it's a symptom of a greater problem. You're just not paying attention. Missouri drivers are really bad. I love you. You're all great, but you can't drive.
Quick note, just as a point of parliament here, that bill that we talked about from Roger Reedy, it is driver's ed for Missouri public schools at elementary and secondary education levels. So this is driver's ed being mandatory in public schools. Not necessarily necessary for all drivers. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I feel like it's all the Illinois plates, I feel like, are the worst drivers. And maybe they're just mad. Who knows? I will say Ranj did do an impression that really needs to be in person, which doesn't help on radio.
So,
unless you're watching on the YouTube or on the Twitter or on Facebook, of why Missouri drivers are so bad. And I have to agree.
So when you drive, when you come into this state to drive, it feels like every driver is 96 years old and can barely see over the wheel. Like if you can't look into the car for yourself, you just assume that everybody is 100 and can barely see. And the feeling is that every person's like, oh no, do I turn left? Oh, right? Oh,
should I slow down?
Do I go fast? Do I go slow? What do I do? That's how it feels. Everybody in Missouri drives. You're so bad at it, and I don't know why it's so difficult. And yes, actually, I do know why. It's because you don't take an education class before you get your license. You get a permit, right?
You do.
You get a permit, and you can drive with an adult who can kind of show you around a little bit. And there's no requirement as to how many hours you have to spend in the car, right? Here's your permit. I think somebody needs to take you around town and show you how to drive. Let's go straight to the driver's test.
Yeah.
And they don't, again, when they do the actual test where they determine if you get a license or not, it's not that thorough of an exam. I mean, it's kind of like left turn signal, turn left onto this street. Okay, park in this spot. Okay, you're done. Can you follow the speed limit? That's it.
I mean, I want to disagree. I just think the drivers are just so dumb. They're so terrible here. And I say that knowing that, especially on the highways, I feel like Illinois plates are the worst. But, when you're looking at terrible drivers in St. Louis County, it's Clarkson Road in Manchester, or, over on where there's always crashes on like Newhall's Ferry, or even like Highway 109 out in West County. It feels like there's just so many unnecessary crashes, and especially like 40 in Lindbergh and 270. Why do you have to crash there? It's like you have to crash there.
I don't know.
You don't have to crash there, but people think, oh, it's rush hour. We better have a crash. I don't know. I want to disagree with you, but I do think Missouri drivers are terrible, and it's a combination of that. Oh, what do we do? What do we do? And then people who get frustrated.
We found a texter who has somehow found a way to make this political, who says, I think Ranji needs to cut out his petty partisan hate for red-coded things and extreme affinity for blue-coded things. You mean learning how to drive versus not learning how to drive?
That's because you're
what a stupid observation.
No,
that is such a dumb observation.
Ron,
yes, it is.
You
it's
have
dumb.
liberal glasses.
My liberal glasses say I need to learn how to drive before I get in behind the wheel of a 3,000-pound vehicle.
Remember, didn't you get in trouble for wearing liberal glasses? You did. A texter said your glasses are liberal.
Oh, because I'm wearing glasses.
Yes,
because
Sorry,
I like
your actual
right.
glasses are liberal.
Because I like to see versus not see.
Which is starting to make me feel uncomfortable.
It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I was ordering food from our usual place for the big meeting. My VP said, please, God, no.
For workplaces suffering with corporate catering deficiency, every day's a struggle.
The food was always meh and over budget. Before Easy Cater, I thought that was normal.
Easy Cater is designed to treat CCD with a huge variety of restaurants, help meet dietary needs, and stay on budget. Use daily. One platform lets you save time and thrive. Ask your web browser about Easy Cater or start an order at easycater.com.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You can feel the Clydesdales circling the field, hear the stands come alive, smell the hot dogs, the popcorn, and cold beer in the air. See the crowd rise as the first pitch hits the glove, and just like that, a new season begins. The countdown is on until opening day, and tickets start at just $49. Don't miss St. Louis's favorite holiday. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/opening day.
Cardinals single game tickets are now on sale for the 2026 season. The schedule delivers big-time matchups, including weekend series against the Cubs and Dodgers and visits from the Boston Red Sox. Add in a promotions calendar stacked with fan favorites like all-new giveaways, a Hawaiian short and shirt set, golf-inspired hat, dark mode jersey, and a whole lot more. It's Busch Stadium at its best all season long. Lock in your seats today at Cardinals.com.
Okay, class, let's begin.
Psst, love your boots. I just sold a pair like that on eBay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it took like 2 seconds to list and they sold almost immediately. I've been selling everything lately. Some chunky boots, a faux fur coat I never wore, and a vintage chair that was more of an expensive clothing rack.
You know, I actually bought these on eBay. Wait, are you Kitty Sell Stuff from Brooklyn?
Okay, quiet, please.
Find what you love, sell what you don't. eBay, things people love.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water?
I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
The 46th Builders St. Louis Home and Garden Show returns to America's Center March 6th through 8th.
Bring the whole family to watch the adrenaline-pumping off-axis stunt show and the canines in the clouds frisbee dogs.
Details at stlhomeshow.com.
One city, one voice. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Well, we have talked about poly market and prediction markets versus just straight up gambling.
Yeah.
There's a difference. And again, if you did not see, and this was a couple months ago, the poly market special on 60 Minutes, it's like 10 minutes. It's a segment and it blew my mind. And what's so funny, without even talking to Michael Kelly beforehand, I showed up to work. Michael Kelly showed up to work. And he said, did you see? I said 60 Minutes on Polymarket? And he said yes, because it is so sketch on what you can bet on. Well, Polymarket saw almost $530 million traded on bets tied to the bombing of Iran. And an analysis from an analytics firm found that specifically there were 6 brand newly created accounts that made a profit of $1 million by correctly betting that the U.S. would strike Iran by February 28th. They said that kind of behavior, a new account that's never placed a bet before, you create it, and then you bet a ton of money that the U.S. is going to bomb Iran, that could indicate insider trading. And there are, whether it's politicians or experts across the field, cannot believe that this is legal and so unregulated. And Polymarket, to be clear, is offshore right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why there's no regulation on it whatsoever. And you can bet on, I mean, you can call it a bet. It's not like sports betting. So FanDuel and DraftKings and BetMGM and Circa and all these books, they are heavily regulated. Like you can't be anonymous. They take your driver's license. They make sure that you are who you say you are. And you can bet on with Polymarket and Kalshi and these other prediction markets. You can bet on anything. Like right now, the main bet is, will the Iranian regime fall by June 30th? And right now there's a 38%. They also give you a percentage probability that it's going to happen. And so if you followed along, I looked at Polymarket most days leading up to the 2024 election because it would tell you what their prediction was for Kamala Harris or Donald Trump winning that election. And it was interesting to follow that. Right now, there's a 38% chance, just a 38% chance, Polymarket says, that the Iranian regime will fall by the end of June.
So, and again, it's offshore, it's unregulated. Anybody could bet. And in fact, there's a guy that made about, I want to say, almost $500,000 betting that Doge would fail, right? That it was not going to work, that it would kind of dissolve it by a certain time. So Jonah Goldberg, who's a political pundit, who has, he talks to sources in the Capitol. He's on CNN. He's in that world. He goes, he's like, I don't bet. We don't bet at all. And I'm sure we're going to have some kind of, official policy on this. But he said the fact that any of these people in Congress or covering the issue could start making bets, which with information that is by necessity insider information, like how is this unregulated? He couldn't believe, because it just feels so unethical. He goes, honestly, we all knew Doge would fail. That's a great bet. But the fact that you can just bet on these things, especially if you're someone who might be in the know, and again, to show how wild it is, well, why couldn't you bet on an assassination? And so Kalshi, which is another like Polymarket prediction market, they responded that, this could put real financial incentives on certain assassinations. And the Kalshi CEO, Tariq Mansour, said, well, We don't list markets directly tied to death. When there are markets where potential outcomes involve death, we design the rules to prevent people from profiting from death.
Don't believe you, because somebody did. Somebody did benefit and profit off of it.
He said, he goes, well, Kalshi would reimburse all fees from the bets if you bet on someone dying. And it is so sketch. It is way too easy for somebody with insider information to bet on these things, because it's completely different when you're, insider trading with stocks versus you can bet on everything.
And Amy, it's every bit as bad as that, if not worse. Because if you have inside information that we're about to carry out a military operation, what's to prevent you? I mean, unless you have some sort of integrity, and I'm sorry, but I don't believe everybody in the administration has integrity. I mean, who's to say you wouldn't go, oh, I just found out we're going to bomb this country. Let me go tell somebody to place a wager on my behalf on this. That's really dangerous territory to get into. And did you see, and this is sort of related, there was a TMZ interview. The guy who runs TMZ, is it Harvey Levin or Harvey Levin? I'm not exactly sure. Or Levine. I don't know how he pronounces it, but he's interviewing Mark Garagos, who's an attorney. And this attorney was at Joe's Seafood Prime Steak and Stone Crab, which is a great restaurant, by the way. But there's one in Washington, D.C., and he was next to a group of men in suits, and he was overhearing their conversation. And by the way, the interview that we're talking about with Garagos was taking place before, it was recorded before the bombing in Iran. And this guy is at the table at Joe's Seafood and hears people next to him in D.C. talking about the bombing in Iran that was coming today, and then it ended up happening that day. So these people were talking loudly about military plans that were supposed to come that day, and he overheard it. And he didn't identify who it was at the table, but you got a lot of loose lips around here.
If you hear, about sports betting, and we've seen some of the basketball scandals and the baseball scandals with sports gambling, and you think, hey, this is bad, there's too much money involved. Poly market and prediction markets on every single major world event will dwarf the potential for abuse and insider knowledge, because it's completely unregulated. And we are talking world events. It is, I don't know, it might be too late. We might just be naive to what's going on already.
I guarantee you that we are, that this is already happening, and I don't know there's any way to stop it. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX. Sorry about that. Yeah. We still have tickets to give away.
Yeah, that's good news. And the new Cardinals tickets are good news.
Yeah, so let's do this right now. We are looking for caller number 7 to the contest line at 314-955-1120 if you want to go see that concert Saturday. Zach Bryan at the Dome at America Center. And we need caller number 7. The tickets courtesy of AEG. Best of luck to you. And speaking of tickets and a great deal, and this one's illegal, the Cardinals are offering you a sweet ticket deal for the 2026 season. We're going to tell you all about it. It's getting national attention, actually. It's next on KMOX.
Who's been talking about St. Louis sports since 1985? Bernie Miklasz.
March the 26th, first game, Busch Stadium, Tampa Bay Rays at Cardinals. The first Cardinal to bat in 2026. That will be J.J. Weatherholt. So the point is, he'll be on base a lot. He has tremendous on-base skills, and I think that's what you want in the leadoff hole.
Bernie Miklasz. Hear what he has to say on the voice of the St. Louis Cardinals. 104.1 FM, KMOX. Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Drizzling and spritzing. That's what's going on out there. 43 degrees, cloudy, showers, thunderstorms. You know the routine. That's going on through the night. A high today of 57, a low of 47.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Want a new home in Cottleville? Check out Cottleville Trails by McKelvey Homes. Take a golf cart or walk to downtown Cottleville. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today to learn more about the incredible homes in Cottleville Trails and move up to McKelvey.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Tax season is here, and Missouri families are already seeing the real impact of the Working Families Tax Cut Act. House Republicans are delivering real results for hardworking Missourians. According to the Council of Economic Advisors, the bill is projected to raise wages in Missouri by about $3,000 to $6,000 over the next 4 years. That's more money for groceries, gas, and greater security for your family's future. In Congress, I'm working to protect working families, strengthen our economy, and ensure you are keeping more of your hard-earned money.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Universal Windows Direct. March is that time of year when a lot of us start thinking about fresh starts, spring cleaning, that kind of stuff. If you are in the market for replacement windows, here's the deal from Universal. When you buy 2 windows, you get 2 for free with no limit, 24 months with no payments and no interest, giving you 2 full years to enjoy the comfort before paying a dime. $500 bonus off your home improvement project, 314-334-2522 or universalwindowsdirect.com.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan. If it's cold outside, the team at Morelli Tuck Pointing is still busy. During colder months, Morelli can inspect any exposed brick inside your house. If your basement has a stone or black wall, Morelli can remove the worn-out mortar from that wall and replace it with new mortar. This tuck pointing work will reinforce your foundation, prevent water from entering your home, and thwart pests. This is a great time to get the inside of your garage inspected. And the same goes for your brick or stone fireplace. I've used Morelli Tuck Pointing to repair the chimneys, walkways, and walls of 2 homes here in St. Louis. The Morelli bids are fair, their crews are super polite, and they clean their job sites. Don't take my word for it. Check out the reviews on Google. Winner of the BBB Torch Award and the Next Door Neighbor Fave Award, 35 years in business, an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau, 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
When it comes to lighting, Graybar goes beyond parts and products. We help contractors turn plans into smart designs, manage kitting and deliverables, and navigate local codes so you can stay on time and on budget. Smart, scalable, job site ready. That's not just lighting. That's like kicking your project into Graybar mode. Yep, Graybar does that.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. Stewie, let's talk about refinancings, and let's just bottom line this. Everyone needs money at some point in their life.
You know what, Dave? There's so many different ways you can make money. Number one, go to a lower rate. If you're financed over the last 3 years, chances are you're paying a higher rate than what you can today. Refinance with the Bagel loan, no closing costs at all. That's number one. Number two, a lot of people are concerned not about the cash flow, but overall interest that you're paying. Go from a 30-year to a 20-year. The rates are lower on a 20-year versus a 30-year. Save hundreds of thousands of dollars. And third is the really easy way. You need cash. I need cash. Take cash out. Refinance now. Take the money you need. Keep the payment the same. It's easy. It's simple. All with no closing costs with that Bagel loan.
If you're looking to save money, get a little cash to your pocket and do it with the right person, give Stewie a call or a text on his personal cell phone, 314-324-4440, or Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS 226715.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Bernie Nicholas and the Gas House Gang, today at noon on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
Well, I don't think we're under any illusion here that the Cardinals are going to be picked to win the division in 2026. Not to say it can't happen. We just talked to Rob Raines with STLSportspage.com, who says he thinks they'll be better than everybody else thinks. That doesn't mean they're going to win the division, of course, he says.
So many caveats here.
But they could be better. And yeah, of course, that's true if everything falls into place and you got all these young players that overperform or they progress more quickly than we thought they would. So it's not necessarily going to be about wins and losses this year for the Cardinals. So when that happens, this is just the natural outcome of that, is that people tend to stay away from a team that's not very good. So they don't come watch. They don't buy tickets. They don't come downtown. I mean, they'll watch on TV and they'll listen on KMOX. But the ballpark is, and not just the ballpark, it is the team. They are putting together a nice little ticket package to entice people to show up to the park. And the reason this is so interesting to me anyway, and I think to Amy and everybody else as well, is that it's highly unusual in professional sports, in modern professional sports, really in the big league sports, this doesn't happen. This plan is called the Coca-Cola Unlimited plan, and it's for this season. And starting at $29, you'll get a ticket to Big Mac Land. So if you've been to the ballpark, you know upper deck, left field. And I like Big Mac Land. That's been around since the Mark McGwire days, of course.
It is great if you want to work on your farmer's tan.
It is. And this is just a sidebar question. Do they still, if a home run lands in Big Mac Land, and the reason they did it was because McGwire used to hit balls up there all the time. Every time a ball would land there, everybody would get a Big Mac. Do they still do that or no?
Matthew?
I don't know. At any rate, your ticket to Big Mac Land starting at $29. This is sections 271 and 272. Include unlimited access to classic ballpark favorites and ice cold Coca-Cola products all game long. No tabs, no transactions. And this is what the website says, just baseball and bottomless bites. Here's what you get for $29, starting at $29. Coca-Cola products, hot dogs, chicken tenders, bratwurst, nacho chips and cheese, fries, popcorn, peanuts, kettle chips, ice cream cups. So you get the wristband, you check in at the station you're supposed to check in. I think it's behind section 265. You check in, you get a wristband, you go up to the concession. You can take 3 items per visit. You can go up there as many times as you want.
So, and this is absolutely true. Barring you go to a Tuesday matinee, means you could take your family to a baseball game and get a ton of snacks for like way cheaper than going to a movie.
Yeah.
If you go to a movie theater and you're buying popcorn and candy and soda for your kids.
Oh, yeah.
So as you mentioned, it's making national news. Here's the lead from the New York Times. How many hot dogs can one person eat at a baseball game? St. Louis Cardinal fans will have the opportunity to find out. And it talks about the Coca-Cola Unlimited ticket package, $29, all you can eat concessions. Now, they note that other franchises with similar promotions going on right now, Arizona Diamondbacks, Houston Astros, and Cincinnati Reds.
What's interesting about
Similar,
this, though,
I don't know exactly theirs,
is that the Cardinals never had to do something like this. So this is the other layer of it, is that normally, if this was supposed to be a good baseball year, you're not going to get deals like this. And the fact that the Cardinals are doing it, which has been for years now, one of the 2 best attendance teams in the entire sport. It's been the Dodgers and then the Cardinals for many, many years. So people are coming out to the park, but that has changed over the last couple of seasons. You would never think the Cardinals would have to do something like this to get people into the park. But I'm telling you, that's a pretty tremendous deal.
It is. And here's the thing, because we talked about this, last year when the Cardinals were setting the rather dubious records or ignominious records of, low attendance. I get it. And people gave all sorts of excuses because that's what they were, whether it comes like, oh, it's crime, oh, it's parking, oh, it's this, when really we all know the truth. And the truth is winning covers a multitude of sins. Winning erases every excuse for why you don't go down to the ballpark. And if the Cardinals had been competitive, if they were in the playoffs, if they were in the World Series, everybody's going down to Busch Stadium. So we know that winning covers a multitude of sins. Do you know what also covers a decent amount of sins? And that is a lot of free food and a ridiculous deal that makes a family outing so affordable that, like Charlie Brennan used to say, you're losing money if you don't go. I honestly think that this is a good enough deal that people who otherwise wouldn't have gone to the ballpark will go for this. Not a lot of deals change minds. A lot of people were going to go anyway, right? A lot of people weren't going to go anyway.
Right.
I could see this changing your mind.
And now opening day tickets, of course, those $29 seats are gone. So you can still get in, but it's a little over $100 to get in. Even then, somehow $100 is, and then you get all the free soda and food you want. In modern baseball, it's not that bad of a deal. For the second game of the season on Saturday, you can get $60 tickets in that section. There's still some $60 seats left.
Do you see, because Big Mac Land seats about 500 people. Do you see the Cardinals expanding this beyond Big Mac Land or no?
You know,
because it's a pretty good deal.
My guess is probably not, but maybe. I don't think they're likely to do it, but I guess they could. Because here's what could end up happening. You could have the upper deck mostly unpopulated except for these two sections. And they're just full of people in left field, which would be a weird visual.
Would be a weird visual, but kind of funny. To your point about the prices, it is obviously subject to dynamic pricing. So, yeah, when the Dodgers or the Yankees come to town, it might be more expensive.
But right now, looking on the Cardinals website, the Cardinals and Mets at Busch Stadium on that Monday. So after the first series of the season, the Mets come to town. There are some $29 tickets available right now.
New York, this is through The Athletic, points out that if you go to the Cardinals game, an average ticket price was $39.49. Chicken tenders, $11.49. So they said if you bought one ticket, one hot dog, and a bottle of water, okay? One ticket, one hot dog, and a bottle of water, it would cost you $53.97.
Yeah. Yep.
That's one hot dog and a bottle of water.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And again, the Cardinals are getting a lot of attention nationally. Barstool mentioned it. They wrote about it. They kind of made fun of us, but they said our roster was so bad we need to do this to get people in the park, which is not very nice. But you mentioned the New York Times. I think USA Today wrote about it, SI. It's getting attention because the Cardinals have just never had to do this before. And as I mentioned earlier, Amy, there are stadiums that will have refillable soda.
Yeah, I've never been to a stadium with that.
And I don't mean City SC because they have that Yeti that you can buy. And it's pricey. But if you're going to a lot of games, then you can get that money back because you can refill that as much as you want, that the City Rambler. But if you go to a Falcons game and you buy the $5 soda or whatever it is, you can just go up and refill it as much as you want. And that is very, very unusual. And they get a lot of attention for doing that. And the Cardinals are getting attention for this too. And I think it's a cool thing to do.
Why are ballpark hot dogs so good? They're so good. To be completely honest, and now my dad had always said, like my dad would give me trouble because I'm a cheap date. And he would be like, well, I guess the guy has that going for it. But I would rather have a ballpark hot dog than a lobster dinner. I'm not trying to be obnoxious. I'm not trying to make a point. I'm just not a big shellfish person. Wow. And lobster is fine. It's just butter. It's just a vehicle for butter. I've had lobster before, and I never eat lobster and go, oh, this is so delicious. But I do that with hot dogs. Ballpark hot dogs beat lobster any day.
Well,
I know you probably disagree.
I love both of them. I think the lobster meat is fantastic, and hot dogs are so great. And I've never had a bad hot dog except for Dodger Stadium because Dodger dogs are butt.
Do they put stuff? Is it what makes it a Dodger dog?
It's just long and skinny.
Ew.
Stupid. It's what a
like
stupid
a beef
invention.
Jerky stick?
No, kind of. That's what a Dodger dog feels like. They're gross. Don't bother. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX. Gas House Gang is coming up at 12. Congratulations, Derek from East St. Louis, going to see Zach Bryan at the Dome at America Center. And if you missed out today, don't worry. We'll give you opportunities again tomorrow and for the rest of the week to win those tickets. Basketball fans, it is almost time for the Super Trade Day sweepstakes. FanDuel is all about those 3-point moments. And on March 3rd, that's 3-3. You get it? You'll have your own shot at a big win from downtown. So this is today. Place a 3-point wager and you will be entered to win a share of over $3.3 million in bonus bets. Download the Sportsbook app by going to FanDuel.com/Missouri to get that profit boost to enter. FanDuel.com/Missouri. Get started today. It's a whole lot of fun to participate. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Limit 1 entry. Profit boost bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost token. Prizes issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Straight Realty has always been an industry leader when it comes to commissions, so it should come as no surprise that the recent Realtor settlement has only empowered us to continue offering our sellers even better rates. We now list homes for only 2%. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Call me 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Midwest winters take a real toll on your garage door. Let my friends at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis come out and perform their 26-point tune-up on your garage door and opener. The work is guaranteed, and it's just one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. No extra charge for evening or Saturday service. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, since 1926, 100 years. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. That's overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-491-9914. 800-491-9914. That's 800-491-9914.
Presenting A Gain Flings Love Story. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus this morning when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. Alas, I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Try Gain Flings with OxyBoost and Febreze.
At LendSeek, we know running a business takes heart, hustle, and sometimes a little help. That's why we stand with you with our exclusive AI lending platform, connecting you to over 100 funders. If you've been in business for at least 2 years with a minimum annual revenue of $500,000, you can get up to $1 million in funding in as fast as 24 hours. No collateral, no prepayment penalties, no red tape. Apply today with no cost or obligation at lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
Get ready, St. Louis area. The St. Charles Boat Show is here March 5th through 8th at the St. Charles Convention Center. See the top dealers from the Lake of the Ozarks and climb aboard your next dream boat. New models, great deals, and summer fun starts here. Visit lakeoftheozarksboatdealers.com for details.
Chris Raunchy, Amy Mark scores because life is too short for boring radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's pretty good stuff from today. Amy Mark scores. President Trump is in the Oval Office and talking to reporters, and a reporter asks him the question, hey, what's the worst case scenario for what you have planned in Iran? And his response is, quote, I don't know if there's a worst case. I guess the worst case would be we do this and then somebody takes over who's as bad as the previous person, right? That could happen. Well, at least you thought it through. Yeah, no kidding, dude. That's what everybody's telling you. And also, this is the report from yesterday from NBC had this yesterday. That remember when Kash Patel, who's in charge of the FBI, fired a dozen agents last week because they all took part in the classified documents investigation, and he claimed, without providing evidence, that the agents who investigated Trump's hoarding of the top secret documents, they engaged in improper investigative steps. That's what he says. He didn't provide evidence of it. Anyway, he fired them. Almost all of them, or if not all of them, their jobs were part of an elite counter-espionage unit that specialized in Iran. Doesn't it seem like those people might be useful right now? Like, I don't know a whole lot about counter-espionage.
Like, did Kash fire them because he heard rumblings, or was it literally he fired them going, we don't need these guys because no one tells Cash anything, so he had no idea what was going on? There's just so much
my guess is
that I don't. Is it related or no?
I don't know if it's related or not. It might be coincidental, but my guess is it's the latter, that he just doesn't know. And he was just so focused on getting all the people who were involved in the classified documents case. And he's doing it to win the favor of the president. That's my guess.
Yeah.
I don't know that for sure, but it is, regardless of why he fired them, it's pretty negligent and incompetent to fire people whose job. And don't we need people right now who are experts in Iran, considering what we've done there and knowing that they might retaliate on our soil somehow? Don't you think that we should have these people working for us?
And that's why, again, multiple things can be true at once before everybody gets there. Underpants in a wad, which tends to happen if
you criticize certain people.
Right. I can hold two truths, two realities, which is the supreme leader of Iran, evil, despicable, murderous, torturous, pedophile, oppressor, terrible, right? And when I saw the videos of the Iranian people celebrating and knowing what this means for them, at least, temporarily, we don't know long term, but just after, the Islamic regime in Iran brutally murdered 30, 40,000 people who so bravely protested, especially so many women, who uncovered their hair, knowing that if they danced in the streets, they could be killed for it. And hoping the best for those people, and also knowing that you could probably make a pretty strong constitutional case for taking out the leaders in Iran. You could. I don't think it was made because it just kind of happened unilaterally, but you could make a strong case and say, I'm glad this happened right now. And then also have fear, doubt, and an enormous amount of concern because the current administration that went ahead with a move that you may think is a good move has proven itself to be incompetent and bumbling at best, and I would say cavalier at worst when it comes to what happens next. And so those two things can be true, that you can say, of course, I'm glad they took out the leader, but I am concerned because the messaging coming out of this administration leads me to believe they have no plan.
So that's
they
the problem.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
That all of this is flying by the seat of their pants, and a bunch of bros said, let's do it, even if you agree with what happened.
That's the issue. You can want that guy to have been gone, but in doing that, you better have made sure that the person who does replace him is not as bad, if not worse, because that happens all the time. It's not just a remote possibility that somebody takes over, somebody slides right into his place and is worse than him. Again, it's not remote. It's very, very, very possible and maybe even likely that happens.
It's a vacuum. Power abhors a vacuum. Your nature abhors a vacuum. Something's going to slide into that place. And I am not confident.
It's like
with Pete Hegseth.
It's like have you ever had a boss at a job and the boss is terrible and you're like, thank God they fired him, and the person they replace him with is much meaner? Like, oh, damn, I didn't know that was going to happen. I don't know, dude. It reeks of incompetence, and
But for the Iranian people, we are hoping want the best for the Iranian people who have fought so bravely.
Of course, but you better be sure of this, man. We'll see. Tomorrow we're back at 9 o'clock, 9 to noon. The Chris and Amy Show. If you missed anything, Odyssey app, KMOX.com, or the iHeart app, and have a good one. Coming up next, it is the Gas House Gang. Bernie Miklasz, Tom Ackerman, Chris Ranji will talk Cardinals baseball and more. Matt Pauley joins us from Florida when we come back on KMOX. You know how to put it in drive where the washer fluid is.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by